Online කටට පැහැදිලි වෙනවද? Online students, can you hear me clearly? Online students, can you hear me clearly? One. ඔයගලන්ටත් පැහැදිලි වෙනවන්නේ? වැඩිත් එක්කනේ. හරි. මල්ලි අරක check කරන්න. Okay, thank you. පොඩක් මුලින් count එක හොයාගන්න, like who are the English medium students? English medium students mainly, and Sinhala medium students. Okay, we have few English medium and Sinhala medium students, right? Okay. And online, please like raise your hand, English medium students. I mean, raise your hand කියලා. අත උස්සන්න එපා. Okay. 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 So I'll start the class. මෙහෙමයි මගේ එක main objective එකක්. Like the reason to start this class, the reason to start this class is, I think everything is okay. Yeah. So reason to start this class is like I have my main class on Sunday. ඉරිදට මගේ main class එක තියෙනවා. Around like now around 150 140 students are there online physical. එතකොට ඒකත් එක මම කරන්නේ Sunday morning නේ. So since the class is on Sunday morning, there are like lot of conflicts like different classes, the hampasal කියයි, sports කියයි, ඒකයි ඒ වගේ requirement එකක් තිබ්බා mainly class එකෙන් like ළමයි කිහිප දෙනෙක්ගෙන් තමයි. But there was a requirement to start a new class, a new batch at a new time. So that's why I decided to start this class. So I think main audience would be online, but there are, as I see, there's a physical count too. Physical ළමයි පිරිසකුත් ඉන්නවා. මේකෙදි අපි figure out කරගන්න ඕන දේවල් කිහිපයකුත් තියෙනවා class එක කරගෙන යද්දි, because like I just started the class new, so we have to figure out still few stuff like this. I mean, one thing is I need some extra sessions to cover up stuff because we are lagging behind. I'm planning to like keep both classes close, like from content. මම classes දෙකේම content එක ළඟ තියාගන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලන් මට පුළුවන් නම් accelerate කරලා මගේ අනිත් class එක ගාවට ගන්න, like from content to the same lesson. If we can go for mechanics as soon as possible, අපිට යාන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාව ඉක්මනට පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් I think it would be better for everyone, so that like you won't be lagging behind when we come to term test and stuff. Clear? So because of that reason, I may need some extra classes too. And the next thing is we have to figure out the like the mode of teaching. උගන්වන්න ඕන method එක. Because මගේ Sunday class එකේ ඇත්තටම සිංහල medium English medium දෙගොල්ලම ඉන්නවා. ඒකත් එක්ක ලොකු ඇත්තට මගේ main මම ඇත්තටම languages දෙකම teach කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා, but Sunday class එක mainly යන්නේ with Sinhala and English terms kind of thing. But here I was planning to do a lot of stuff in English, but we'll see. මට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගෙන් response එක ඕනේ, like who are the, like I'm ඒක අහන එකත් ඇති කියලා නෑ සමහරට. But anyways, I think there may be students who can't understand Sinhala, right? Maybe. No? Anyone who can't understand Sinhala? Yeah, right? There must be few students who can't understand Sinhala. So I'm trying to cater everyone here as much as possible. මම පුළුවන් තරම් හැමෝටම මෙතෙන්දි cater කරන්න බලනවා, but we have to see how it goes on. And I think all the Sinhala medium students too, they also can understand English, so it won't be a problem. And mama කොහොමත් tutes English Sinhala දෙකෙන්ම දෙනවා. All the tutes are given in both languages. And also I'll be mentioning Sunday class is like I'm speaking in Sinhala and mentioning English terms. Here it may be like I'll be speaking in English but not completely. For a certain level I'll be speaking in English, but I'll be repeating all the Sinhala terms. I'll move on like that. And also I usually repeat the same thing twice in the class. In whatever the medium I'm teaching, I usually repeat the same thing twice. එකම දේ මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දෙපාරක් කියනවා. So නිකන් මොනවා හරි casual talk එකක් යද්දි it may be one language, English or Sinhala මේ වගේ. But when I'm explaining stuff, usually the repetition will be one statement in English. I mean, same thing would be repeated in English and Sinhala so that everyone can grab the thing that I'm explaining. Okay. ඒ වගේ plan එකක් එක තමයි යන්න හදන්නේ. එතකොට first day එකෙන් ඒක judge කරන්න එපා. cause first day එක ඉවර වෙලා මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට Google form එකක් දාන්න. Okay. I'll provide a Google form after the first day. You can please mention there like what were you expecting? What is the language mode you are expecting? What would be better? ඒ Google form එක බලලා මම decide කරනවා upcoming classes වල මම මොන language mode එකෙන්ද teach කරගෙන යන්න ඕන කියලා. Clear? That is my main plan for the class. And like all of you can't join Sunday class, right? You have other who can't join, who don't have the Sunday time slot available. Sunday time එක available නැති කට්ටිය කවුද ඉන්නේ? Students? Okay. Seems like yeah, that is the main reason. Because if there is a mainly if there's a Sinhala medium student who can come on Sunday, ඉරිදට එන්න පුළුවන් Sinhala medium student කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් මම වැඩිපුර recommend කරනවා ඉරිදට එන එක. මම කියන්නේ specifically Sinhala medium student කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් Sunday ට එන්න පුළුවන්. මම වැඩිපුර recommend කරනවා ඒකට එන එක. මම ඒකේ recordings ටිකක් දෙන්නම්. Because there's a lot of Sinhala medium students too, both English and Sinhala medium students. I mean 140 ගත්තම around 30 Sinhala ඉතුරු ටික English ඔය වගේ. So එතන මං සමහරට සිංහල medium crowd එකට cater කරන ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන් maybe like දෙකම මම audience දෙකටම cater කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා, but we'll see how things happen. And like from next week onwards I'll be finalizing the mode of teaching, so I need your support. මට ඉවර වෙලා පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා යන්න කොච්චර පැහැදිලිද කොච්චර අපැහැදිලිද කියලා. Okay, at the end of the class please explain me like how was the teaching, were you comfortable with that, did you understand stuff, or like just let me know. Okay, after the class එතකොට මට next week ඉඳන් decide කරන්න පුළුවන් මගේ mode of teaching මොකක්ද වෙන්න යන්නේ කියලා. හරි. So let's start with the class. Mainly I haven't planned everything yet. මම තාම ලොකුවට දේවල් plan කරලා නැහැ. But I have a small plan like this. If possible, we can do units and measurements. එකක හාමාන අපිට පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. After finishing units and measurements, එකක හාමාන ඉවර කරාට පස්සේ I have a plan to jump into mechanics. යන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාවට යන්න plan එකක් තියෙනවා. පුළුවන්කමක් තියෙනවා නම්. Okay. Because if you can jump into mechanics, යන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාවට යන්න පුළුවන් නම් like you are getting holidays for A levels, right? Until 25th, I think you should get holidays. නිවාඩු තියෙන්න ඕනේ until 25th. So if you are getting holidays until 25th, we have that option of doing like if I get like 3 extra classes from you guys, like 3 or 4 extra classes. මට ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ extra class 3ක් හරි 4ක් හරි හම්බුණා නම් හොඳටම ඇති. Measuring instruments cover කරන්න. Okay, if you can provide me like 4 extra classes, I can finish measuring instruments. මට මිනුම් උපකරණ ටික ඉවර කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So then like we can keep up with all other batches. That is my main target. If possible, if I can have 3 or 4 extra classes, I can quickly finish units and I'm gonna finish units and measurements here. එකක හාමාන මම මෙතන ඉවර කරන්නේ. Then if I can start mechanics here, මට යන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාවට කෙලින්ම යන්න පුළුවන්. If you can provide me like 3 extra classes to cover measuring instruments, because what I see is you may get term test in January, right? January the term test in. I think most of the people would have term test on January or February. I can't guarantee because I'm starting this class late. I can't guarantee that I'm gonna like cover everything before the term test because we are starting this batch late. But if possible, I'll try to cover everything before your term test so that you can comfortably face term test without any issue. පැහැදිලිද? අපි ඒ වගේ plan එකක් එක්ක යන්න try කරමු. Okay. Okay. So online students, I think you have no issues there, right? So in the first phase of the class එකේ මුල් හරිය, the main focus is to teach you thinking. Okay, teach you thinking, how to think, how to approach a question, analytical thinking kind of stuff. Because that's what you didn't get in O levels, right? O levels වල හම්බ වෙච්ච නැති ප්‍රධානම දේ analytical thinking නේ. Okay, so first on like mainly my class is really focused about teaching you analytical thinking, analyze something, think differently, this kind of stuff, because I mean, me personally, I mean, I didn't tell anything about me. I think like it's irrelevant here. But anyways, me personally, I'm a engineering undergraduate final year. So, and also I'm doing my own electronic company and a software company. That's my main profession. I'm an electronic engineer and a software engineer. So what I see is like most of like bio students. Bio students, okay, we have a set of bio students too. Okay, so for bio students, the story is a little bit different. For math students, I think you are planning on going to IT industry, electronic industry, tech industry at the end of the day, most probably, or engineering, right? Basically, engineering යන නේ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය A levels පටන් ගන්න math stream එකේ. So එතන අපි දකින ලොකුම issue එක තමයි the main issue I'm seeing in this industries is like no one can think enough. අපි හිතනවා like okay you get selected tomorrow to a university, like there are great people there who can think, who are doing great. No, okay, nothing. I mean, it's really difficult for us to find someone from, even from, not always, but sometimes it's really difficult to find a person who's actually capable of thinking and doing something by their own. තනියෙන් වැඩක් කරන්න පුළුවන් එක්කෙනෙක් හොයන්න සමහරවිට මාර අමාරුයි. ඕකේ, මොකද කටපාඩම් කරලා යුනිවර්සිටි සිලෙක්ට් වෙලා කොහොම හරි යුනිවර්සිටි එකත් කටපාඩම් කරලා ගේමක් ගහගත්තට පස්සේ ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට ආපු ගමන් ඒක ඩිසාස්ටර් එකක්. ඕකේ, sometimes when these people come to industry, it's a disaster. Okay, so we can't, it's really difficult for someone to provide a tech project. Okay, like it's really difficult to find someone who's capable of handling a tech project by their own. Okay, තනියෙන් tech project එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන් කෙනෙක් හොයාගන්න මාර අමාරුයි. එහෙම issue එකක් තියෙනවා. So මගේ classes වල මගේ main objective එකක්. Okay, one of the main objectives in my classes is making like capable people. Okay, so that actually, so that like from my from my first batch is 20 A levels, 2020 A levels. I have 4 people, they are working in my company, like 4 people from that batch who learn from me, because like it's really good to have them. Like I'm giving them like usually I pay everyone more than 4 lakhs of salary. All 4, they are still in the university, but really capable people. සෑහෙන තනියෙන් හිතන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රියෙන් එළියවත් ඒගොල්ලන්ව සමහරලාට හොයාගන්න බෑ. හරිද? ඒකෙ හින්දා අපි ඒ පැත්ත ගැන ලොකු ફોකස් එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඕකේ. හිතන පැත්ත ගැන හරියට හිතන්නේ කොහොමද, තනියෙන් දෙයක් කරගන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක ගැන ලොකු ફોකස් එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ physics කියන subject එක තමයි ඒකට අපිට mainlyම support කරන subject එක. Okay, the main subject that supports us in thinking is physics. So main focus in the class is making you capable of thinking. If you are really capable of thinking, like A level කරන එක මහා සරල දෙයක්. හරිද? A level is not a big deal or big exam if you are capable of thinking. Okay, so like just don't take like A level is a big exam, a difficult exam. It's not like that. Okay, it's a simple exam if you are until you are capable of thinking. Okay, හිතන්න පුළුවන්කමක් තියෙනවා නම් මහා ලොකු අමාරු එක්සෑම් එකක් නෙමෙයි A level කියන්නේ. ෂේප් එකේ කරලා එන්න විතරයි තියෙන. අපිට එහෙම කිසි බරක් තිබ්බේ නැහැ A levels ලියනවා කියලා. Okay, okay, so so there are 3 main parts. ප්‍රධාන කොටස් තුනක් තියෙනවා. අපි මුල් දවස්වල target කරන math skills. Okay, we had to develop math skills as much as possible. පුළුවන් තරම් math skills ටික හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. bio කට්ටියට පවා. Okay, because we can't separate physics and maths. So I'll be teaching maths parts also that are required for physics specifically. Okay, I'll be teaching all those parts. And with that, we have to go on to thinking, then theory. I'm starting with units and measurements. ඒකක like ඒකක හාමාන වලින් පටන් ගන්නවා units and dimensions. Then I'm still thinking, මම තාම හිතනවා අපිට පුළුවන් වුණත් අපි mechanics වලට කලින් යන්න බලමු. Okay, because it's a huge lesson. සහ ඉගෙන ගන්න ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා ඒ lesson එකේ. Okay, you got 2 tutes, right, everyone? No, anyone who didn't get tutes? Okay. Online students, I think you are in the group, right? Online ළමයි group එකේ ඉන්නව නේද? මොකද මම tutes දැම්මා. Yeah, මම අනිත් group එකේ tutes ටික දාලා තියෙන්නේ පොඩි group එකේ, like මේ class එකට ඒක මේ තාම class එකේ group එක නෙමෙයි. Okay, I have provided the tutes. I think there are 2 tutes, one for you to try at home. Let's start with small maths parts. පොඩි maths parts වලින් පටන් ගමු. ඒවෙන් පටන් අරන් අපි පොඩ්ඩක් thinking check කරමු. කොහොමද අපි ගානක් approach කරන්න කියලා බලමු. ඒ විදිහට අපි continue කරමු. Okay. Today I don't have a very specific plan. We have to check little like a set of things. We have to check පොඩි පොඩි දේවල් ටිකක් check කරන්න ඕනේ මට ඕගොල්ලන්ට කොච්චර පැහැදිලි දේවා මොන වගේ මට්ටමකද ඒවැය ඉන්නේ කියලා ඕගොල්ලෝ. Another thing, like let's start with mechanics. You had mechanics in O levels, right? O level වල තිබ්බනේ යාන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාවේ යම් කිසි මට්ටමකට average speed වගේ අහලා දිනවද? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය. Have you heard thing called average speed? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය. Okay. Like just take the book. Like you don't have to write many things in my class එකේ වැඩිය ලියන්න දේවල් නැහැ because everything is provided in the note. Usually it's like almost you don't write anything in the class, but things I'm telling you, like when I ask you average, write the definition of average speed for things like that to do exercises, you can use the tute. Okay. So use your note. Okay. So that is the main idea. You usually don't have to write much in the class. මල්ලි මෙතන tutes දෙකක් දෙන්න. තව කිහිප දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. So your tutes, you will get your tutes. Okay. So like do this for me. Write the definition of average speed. මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය කියන එකේ අර්ථ දැක්වීම ලියන්න. Write the definition of average speed. First, write the definition of average speed. Then if there's a circular path like this, මේ වගේ වෘත්තාකාර පතයක් තියෙනවා නම්, okay? If there's a circular path like this, if the radius is r, array r නම්, if there's a person who starts from this point, මෙතනින් පටන් ගන්න පුද්ගලයෙක් ඉන්නවා නම්, if he completes 2 rounds, මෙයාගේ round දෙකක් එයා complete කරනවා නම්, in capital T time, if he completes 2 rounds in capital T time, find the average speed. There's a person here who completes 2 rounds. මෙයා rounds දෙකක් complete කරනවා. Who completes 2 rounds in capital T time. Capital T කාලයකදී මෙයාගේ round දෙකක් complete කරනවා. Find the average speed. මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය හොයන්න. Tutes හම්බුනේ නැති ඉන්නවද? Anyone who didn't get tutes? No. Okay. Okay, so we have the answer. Like next target, ඊළඟ target එක මේක බලන්න. There's a person traveling the first round. පළවෙනි round එක. මෙයා යනවා පළවෙනි round එක. First round. The average velocity of the first round. මෙයා first round එක යනවා. Average velocity of the first round. Average velocity of the first round is v. පළවෙනි round එක යද්දි මෙයාගේ average velocity එක v. Find the average, find the velocity that it should travel. Velocity කියන term එක අහලා තියෙනව නේද ප්‍රවේගය? ඔය level වල ඒවත් මේ මතක්ද කියලා check කරන්නේ. හරිද? Oh, speed. Just think about speed. Speed දන්නවනේ velocity නැතත් නේ. වේගය කියන එක දන්නවනේ නේ. Okay. Find the velocity that it should travel in the second round for the average velocity to be 2v. මොකක්ද කිව්වේ? First round average velocity is v. Now you are traveling around this circle in the second round, at a v1 speed. But at the end of the day, after 2 rounds, average velocity should be 2 into v. The average velocity should be 2 into v. Find this v1. මෙයා පළවෙනි රවුම යනවා v වේගකින්. දෙවෙනි රවුම මොකක් හරි වෙන වේගකින් ගිහින් මුළු චලිතයට අදාළ මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය 2v කරගන්න ඕනේ. Clear? එහෙනම් මෙයා second round එක යන්න ඕනේ velocity එක. Clear? Okay, try to get the answer. එතකල් මම මේකේ උත්තරය ලියන්නම්. What is average velocity? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? What is average velocity? Total length. What is the total length? මොකක්ද මුළු දිග? 2 pi r. 2 pi r means one round. 2 pi r means one round. 2 pi r into 2. Round දෙකක් කියන්නේ 2 pi r into 2. Okay. Into over capital T. Average velocity means total distance over total time. මුළු දුර බෙදීම මුළු කාලයනේ. Average velocity means, average speed means මධ්‍යන්න වේගය, මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය කියන්නේ මුළු දුර බෙදීම මුළු කාලය. So what is the total distance? 2 circles. 2 circles means 2 pi r into 2. 2 pi r වැඩි කිරීම දෙකනේ නේ මුළු දුර වෙන්නේ. You have to divide it by capital T. Capital T means the total time. මුළු දුර බෙදීම මුළු කාලය. You get average velocity. මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය එන්නේ මුළු දුර මුළු කාලයෙන් බෙදුවමනේ. මේකට ආන්සර් එක ගන්න බලන්න. I'll repeat the question. This guy is traveling 2 rounds. Okay. He's completing 2 rounds. Average velocity of the first round is v. And he travels the second round in some kind of a velocity like v1. දෙවෙනි වටය v1 කියලා ප්‍රවේගයකින් යනවා. What is the velocity that it should travel in the second round for the total average velocity to be 2v? මුළු මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය 2v වෙන්න දෙවෙනි රවුම යන්න ඕන වේගය මොකක්ද? Try. Sometimes like මුලදී හැම නෑ. Okay, but sometimes this class may be difficult, like this class may be like sometimes disturbing for your brain. Okay, that is the idea in the class, because maybe if you are doing a sport, you know, like whatever the exercise we do, if we feel some kind of a pain, that means we are developing some kind of a strength. Like that is the basic idea. So like we are always trying to improve thinking. Okay, so if you can get an answer from a short method, කෙටි ක්‍රමයකින් උත්තරයකට යන්න පුළුවන් නම්, if you can directly point out answer, if you can come up with a creative answer, okay, it may be correct, it may be wrong, I don't care. If you can come up with a creative idea for any kind of a question, just mention. Okay, it's nice to hear that. Okay, මොනවා හරි අලුත් විදිහකට මේක හදන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවා නම් එකපාර උත්තරේ කියන්න පුළුවන් නම්, වෙනස් අයිඩියා එකක් කියන්න පුළුවන් නම් නිකන් කියන්න, හරියන්න වරදින්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Okay, and at the beginning, like it's for many people it's really difficult. ගොඩක් දෙනෙක්ට මේක සෑහෙන අමාරුයි හරියට physics කරගෙන යන එක. Okay, so it's basically having some kind of a faith. මේක කවදා හරි පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා faith එකක් තියෙන එක අත්‍යවශ්‍ය දෙයක් physics වලදී. physics කියන lesson එක මේ subject එකේදී you have to keep some kind of a faith. Like basically I'm also a person like not just in A levels, I mean A levels වල විතරක් නෙමෙයි, ඊට වඩා like I am a gold medalist, physics olympiad gold medalist. So like in when we start doing Olympiad questions, okay, it felt like if we do 15 questions, I only get one question correct, and sometimes it takes the whole time, like maybe 4 hours for me to complete one question. Okay. So when we get into Olympiad physics also, it's all about faith. Faith එක තියෙන එක තමයි Olympiad physics වලත් idea එක. set එකක් ඉන්නවා මේක නම් කරන්න බෑ. තේරුමක් නැහැනේ. පැය 4ක් කල් එක ගායන නම් හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකත් වරදිනවා සමහරලාට. ඕකේ පා වෙනවානේ. but set එකක් ඉන්නවා, some people keeps faith. Okay, they just keep doing it. Although it consumes a lot of time and effort, they just keep doing that. Okay. That people, they end up getting into Olympiad team, getting good medals. So that is the story of anyone who become great at anything, not just physics. Okay. So in beginning, you may not understand anything. Sometimes you may not understand anything. හරිද? සමහරවල්ලාට සමහර කට්ටියට මෙලොවම දෙයක් තේරෙන එකක් නෑ. You may be struggling about thinking or calculations. You just have to keep faith and doing for a certain time. Okay. යම් කිසි කාලයක් ඔය කරන දේ try කරන්න ඕනේ එක දිගට. එතකොට දවසක් එනවා ඔය ඔක්කොම එකපාරට තේරෙන්න ගන්න. තේරුණාද? Okay, that is the basic story of anything. Okay, anything in this world. So ඒක හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. මුලදී අමාරු වුණාට කිසිම ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. Okay, you may feel difficult sometimes, you may feel difficult things in the beginning. Just don't care. Okay, just keep doing. Okay, any answers? Any answers? Small support with the question. පොඩි උදව්වක් කරන්න. There's a vehicle, car එකක් තියෙනවා. Traveling at 5 meters per second. 5 meters per second වේගකින් යනවා. Speed is 5 meters per second. It travels at this speed, it travels 4 seconds. It travels 4 seconds. තප්පර 4ක් යනවා. Clear? Then it changes the speed at this point. මෙතෙන්දි වේගය වෙනස් කරනවා. It changes the speed to 4 meters per second. මෙයා වේගය වෙනස් කරනවා 4ට. It travels at this velocity 3 seconds. 3 seconds. මෙයා තප්පර 3ක් ඔය වේගයෙන් යනවා. It travels 3 seconds in this velocity. Clear? What is the average velocity of the total? What is the final average velocity? මොකද්ද අන්තිම මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය වෙන්නේ? Okay, let's see. What is the equation of average velocity? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගයේ equation එක මොකද්ද? Total distance over total time. Displacement. Yeah. මුළු විස්ථාපනය, but for now අපි mechanics වලට ආව මේක ගැන හිතමු. Anyways, total distance මුළු දුර බෙදීම මුළු කාලය නේද? Average velocity means total distance over total time, right? මුළු දුර බෙදීම මුළු කාලය, මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය. So first let's find the total distance. මුළු දුර හොයමු. How? This distance L1, this distance L2, this distance L1, this distance L2. Clear? How can I get L1? How can I get L1? L1 කොහොමද ගන්න පුළුවන්? 5 into 4, right? 5. If you travel 4 seconds at 5 meters per second velocity, තප්පර 4ක් තප්පරයට මීටර 5කින් ගියොත් total distance you get 5 into 4, right? So 5 into 4. What is L2? L2 10 මොකද්ද? What is L2? 4 into 3. Again 4 into 3. So what is the total that I'm getting? මොකද්ද මට එන total එක වෙන්නේ? Here 20, here 12, 12. What is the total? I get a total of 20 plus 12. 20 දන්න 12ක මට එකතුවක් එනවා. Resultant is 32. Resultant is 32. What is the total time? What is the total time? මුළු කාලය. 4 seconds plus 3 seconds. That means 4 plus 3, 7 seconds. Clear? So what is average velocity? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය. Total distance over total time. What is total distance? මුළු දුර 32. Total time 7 seconds. තප්පර 7යි. So this is your average speed or average velocity. Clear? පැහැදිලිද? Now try to get an answer. I usually try to save a lot of time by not writing tunes, okay, not writing notes in the class. All those time is saved for you so that you have enough time to think, okay? So in the class, I'll be giving enough time for you to think, argue, okay? But don't worry, like the time won't be a problem because we are saving that time from the time that we usually use to write notes, from things like that, okay? Now try. And ඊළඟට ප්‍රධානම දේ ඔයාට පුළුවන් වෙනකන් ඉන්න එපා ගණන් හදන්න පටන් ගන්න. Okay? ඕක තමයි A levels වල කරන ප්‍රධාන mistake එක. Okay? The first main mistake you do in A levels is you wait until you can like do some questions. You wait until like you are comfortable with physics. Such day never comes, okay? Because when you keep learning physics, you get more and more difficult questions. So you won't find a day that you are very comfortable with physics. It's always uncomfortable. So just keep doing it, okay? Just keep trying the question, no matter how hard or easy it is. Just keep trying. නිකන් try කරගෙන කරගෙන යන්න. උත්තරයක් ආවත් එකයි නැතත් එකයි. කවදා හරි උත්තරෙන්න පටන් ගනි. එතකල් වරදින් හරි ලියන්න මොනවා හරි ලියන්න, okay? That is the basic idea of anything, okay? නිකන් ලියන්න මොකක් හරි උත්තරයක් එනකන් හිතන දේ හරි ලියන්න, okay? පින්තූරයක් හරි අඳින්න මොකක් හරි කර. Yeah, try to get the answer. Do we have answers? ඔව්. තව ආන්සර් එකක් තියෙනවා but ඕකත් තව චුට්ටක් වෙනස් වෙන්න ඕනේ. යන්න බේසික්ම ඩෙෆිනිෂන් එකට යන්න බලන්න. Okay. like මම ඒකයි මේ ගන්න හදලා පෙන්නුවේ. What is the most basic definition for average velocity? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගයට බේසික්ම ඩෙෆිනිෂන් එක මොකක්ද? මොකද මට ආපු එක ගොඩක් දෙනෙක්ගෙන් ආපු ආන්සර් එකක් තමයි. Okay. First round V. First round V. පළවෙනි රවුම V. Second round V1. දෙවෙනි රවුම V1. So average would be V plus V1 over 2. That should be 2V. That should be 2V. Okay. So when you solve this, V plus V1 equals 4V. V1 equals 3V. But this is not correct. Okay. But it's really good. Okay. Answer එකට යන එක සෑහෙන වටිනවා. That means you are on the way of getting an answer. Okay. මේකම තමයි මට මේකත් physics වල කියලා දෙන්න ඕන දෙයක්. Okay. This is something that we have seen or something like we like intuitively get at this point, right? First round V nang, if the first round is V, if the second round is V1, average would be V plus V1 over 2. Makes sense, right? පළවෙනි රවුම V nang, දෙවෙනි රවුම V1 nang, V plus V1 over 2 would give me the average. මධ්‍යන්නේ එකෙන් එයි. It makes sense, but sometimes in physics, what is the most important thing is fundamentals, okay? You have to return back to fundamentals again and again, okay? So now check whether you are getting the same answer. Same answer එක fundamentals වලින් එනවද කියලා බලන්න. Fundamental equation is this. මේක තමයි fundamental equation එක. ඕකෙන් උත්තරයකට යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා බලන්න. පැහැදිලිද? Check whether you can go for an answer using fundamentals. Then check whether these two match each other. Why? This is a intuitive answer, right? මේ intuition එකෙන් ගත්ත දෙයක් නේ. Like මට first එක V නම් second එක V1 නම් V plus V1 over 2 makes sense sometimes. Okay. But it's not the definition, right? ඒක නෙවෙයි නේද definition එක මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගයේ. That's not the definition for average velocity, right? It makes sense, but it's not the definition, right? Try to go for the definition. Definition එකෙන් යන්න බලන්න. There's a question, what is the time taken for the second round? No, there is no data like that. It's not a data. I think, yeah, we have enough data to go through the answer. Yeah, it's B. Should be 2V, yeah. We'll see how to go for basics. කොහොමද basics වලට යන්නේ? Do what you know. දන්න දේවල් ටිකෙන් පටන් ගන්න. මොනවාද? මෙහෙම කරමු. මෙහෙමයි අපි fundamentals ඉගෙන ගත්තාම fundamentals apply කරන්නේ. හරිද? අපි දන්න පොඩි පොඩි දේවල් වලින් fundamentals build up කරන්න. Okay? Build up the fundamentals from the things that you know. That means to find average velocity, you need total distance and total time, right? You need total distance and total time. මුළු දුරයි මුළු කාලයයි ඕනේ. හරි. So let's do it this way. Let's take this round, one round. Length of one round is L. Length of one round. Length of one round, I'll take it as L. Clear? Makes sense, right? එක රවුමක් L කියලා ගන්නවා. Okay. So what is the total distance then? 2 rounds, right? At the end of the day, අපි යන්නේ round දෙකක් නේද? So what is the total distance? That means capital S. First thing to find capital S, right? See, I'm not doing anything new. කිසිම අලුත් දෙයක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. Okay. I'm just applying what I know. This is the only thing that I know, right? මේක විතරමයිනේ මම දන්නේ. I'm just doing that. So if one round is L, total S means 2 rounds. That means 2L, right? 2L. Clear? Okay. Now, what is the total time? I can take the time taken for the first round. What is the time taken for the first round? I'll take it as T1. පළවෙනි රවුමට ගිය කාලය මට T1 කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. What is the time taken for that? පළවෙනි රවුමට ගිය කාලය L over V, right? L over V. Why? Length L, speed of the first round V. So length over speed, what you get? දුර බෙදීම වේගයෙන් මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ? කාලය නේද? Length over speed, you get time, right? Clear everyone? What is the time taken for the second round? දෙවැනි රවුමට එන කාලය මොකක්ද? What is the time taken for the second round? Now we know velocity in the second round is V1. දෙවැනි රවුමට එන වේගය මොකක්ද? V1 නේ. Velocity of the second round is V1. Then what is the time taken for the second round? දෙවැනි රවුමට යන කාලය මොකක්ද? Nice. L over V1. L over V1. Second round. Time taken for the second round. Clear? Then what is the total time? This one. What is the total time? Total time is T1 plus T2, right? මුළු කාලය කියන්නේ T1 plus T2 නේද? T1 plus T2. I can write it using this, right? How? What is T1? T1 කියන්නේ කවුද? L over V. T1 L over V. T2 L over V1. Nice. Clear? Nothing new, okay? දන්න පොඩි දේවල් ටික තමයි මේ ආපහු කරන්නේ, okay? කිසිම අලුත් දෙයක් කරේ නැහැ නේ තා. Okay? L over V plus L over V1. Now I have enough data to find the average velocity. Why? මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය හොයන්න නම් S T දනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. Now I have S. Clear? I have S. I have T. S with T දෙකම තියෙනවා නේද? Then equals what? V equals, what is S? 2L. Nice. This is V average. V average. 2L. What is the time? ගිය කාලය මොකක්ද? මේකනේ. Time taken L over V plus L over V1. Clear? What should be the average velocity? මොකද්ද මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය ඉල්ලන්නේ? 2V නේ. 2V. Required average velocity 2V. Clear? අවශ්‍ය මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය 2V. So the required average velocity is 2V. Now see this thing. Nothing new. Everything you knew, right? But by solving this one, you can go for an answer, right? Okay, we'll see. 2L over L over V plus L over V1 equals 2V. දැන් මේව සුළු කරගන්නනේ තියෙන්නේ නේ. We need to solve this, right? This one cancels out. I'll bring this guy here and this guy here. මෙයාව උඩට ගෙනියනවා. මෙයාව යටට ගෙනියනවා. Cross multiply. Then I get L over V. I bring this one down. I get L over V. Clear? And I bring this one here. මෙයාව ගෙනියනවා උඩට. L over V plus L over V 1 L over V plus L over V1. I bring this one here. Clear? This one and this one, they cancels out, right? මෙයාට මෙයා කැපිලා අයින් වෙනව නේද? අඩු වෙනව නේද? Clear? They cancels out. So I get 0 equals L over V1. Clear? I get 0 equals L over V1. Okay, now another problem. අලුත් ප්‍රශ්නය. We get බිඳුව සමාන L බෙදීම V1 කියලා එනවා. What should be the value for V1 for to get 0? බිඳුව එන්නේ කාව කීයෙන් බෙදුවොත්ද? Infinity. You know that, right? How can you get 0? By dividing, like, you have a finite value. මොකක් හරි 5 කියලා හිතන්නකො. L කියන්නේ 5 කියලා ගන්නකො. If L is 5, how can you get 0? By dividing which value? කීයෙන් බෙදුවොත්ද 0 එන්නේ? A huge number, right? You divide, if L is 5, you divide it by 10, you get 0.5. You divide it by 100, if V1 is 100, you get 0.05. You keep increasing this value keep decreasing. යට අගය වැඩි කරන්න මේ අගය අඩු වෙනව නේද? Okay? එහෙනම් මේක 0 කරන්න. To make this 0, what should be the value of V1? මෙයාව 0 කරන්න නම් V1 කීය වෙන්න ඕනද? Infinity, right? In a way, මම ලියන එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් වැරදි. Cross multiply කරලා ලිව්වොත් එනවා L over 0. මෙහෙම කියලා දැනගත්තොත් මාවත් කැම්පස් එකෙන් පන්නනවා. But anyways, L over 0. L over 0. Shoot to infinity, right? බිඳුවෙන් බෙදනවා කියන්නේ බෙදන්න කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. ඕන දෙයක් බිඳුවෙන් බෙදුවොත් ඒක අනන්තයට යනවානේ. It shoots to infinity, right? Clear, everyone? So the value of V1, for this to happen, V1 should be infinity. V1 අනන්තය වුණොත් විතරයි මේක වෙන්නේ. Clear? V1 should be infinity for this to happen. That means it's impossible. That's why whenever you try the question again and again, you keep getting a higher number, right? You try it several times, you get V, 2V, 3V, 4V. That's the nature of this kind of questions. Why? You keep doing the question, try different approach. Okay, එක approach try කරන්න, the answer would keep increasing. Answer would keep increasing. Clear? So the answer is infinity. Answer is infinity. That means it's impossible. It's pretty obvious. Why is it impossible? ඇයි ඒක අනන්තය වෙන්නේ? ඇයි ඒක කරන්න බැරි වැඩක් වෙන්න ඕනේ? නිකන් මෙහෙම හිතන්න. You travel the first round at a V velocity. V වේගයකින් ඉන්නේ පළවෙනි රවුම යන්නේ. That means V equals L over T, right? V equals L over T. This is for the first round. Then at the end of the day, average velocity should be 2V, right? Average velocity should be 2V. අන්තිමට average velocity එක 2V වෙන්න ඕනේ. 2V කියන්නේ 2V means 2L over T. 2L over T. Now see what happens. You have to run 2 rounds in the same time. It took time T to go 1 round. එක රවුමක් යන T කාලයක් ගියා. It took time T to travel 1 round. But to make the average velocity 2V, you have to run the next round in no time. කාලයක් ගන්න නැතුව ඊළඟ රවුම දුවන්න වෙනව නේද? Why? Average velocity එක V වල ඉඳන් 2V ට යනවා කියන්නේ length becomes double but time should remain, right? For average velocity to be double, okay, average velocity to be double, length should be double but time should remain same, right? දිග දෙගුණ වෙලා කාලය හැමම තිබ්බොත් නේද 2V වෙන්නේ. Average එකෙන් එහෙමනේ. Clear? I mean in a highway, okay? In a highway, you travel 5 kilometers per hour. Okay? You travel 5 kilometers per hour. That means in 1 hour, you should travel 5 kilometers. You should travel 5 kilometers in 1 hour. If someone asks you to make it double, make the average velocity double, that means 10 kilometers per hour. What should you do? Average මධ්‍යන්න ප්‍රවේගය පැයට කිලෝමීටර් 10ක් කරන්න නම් ඔයා මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ? In the same time, you should travel 10 kilometers, right? Same idea, right? It takes time t to travel one round. එක රවුමක් යන්න t කාලයක් යනවා. මම කියනවා make the average 2v. That means you have to go twice the distance, but in the same time. But you have already taken the first round. පළවෙනි රවුම අරන් ඉවරයි. That means you have to go the second round in 0 time. බිඳුවක කාලයකදී දෙවෙනි රවුම දුවන්න ඕනේ, and it's impossible. ඒක කරන්න පුළුවන් වැඩක්ද? බෑ නේද? So there was an answer from the beginning, okay? If you keep thinking, if you are keeping, okay, if you try like without straightly trying to go with maybe definitions වලටත් යන්න කලින් if you keep thinking, okay, is this possible? මේක වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා හිතලා බැලුවනම් you make like get that answer, right? ඒ answer එක ඔලුවට එන්න තිබ්බා පොඩ්ඩක් හිතලා බැලුවනම් මේක වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. Why I'm teaching this is in physics in A levels paper there's a like it's not a rule, it's an ethic. There's an ethic like this that whatever the answer you get should be practically possible. In A levels they usually they never give like whatever the answer you get, it should be practical. It's some kind of a rule, not an exact rule but an ethic. ඒ කියන්නේ මොන උත්තරයාවත් ඒක හරි උත්තරයක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ගානක හිතන්න කූඹියගේ බරම ඉන්න දිනවා කියලා කූඹියගේ ස්කන්ධය at the end of the question they ask the mass of someone, okay, mass of a dog, let's say. You will not get that answer like 250 kilograms, something like that. Okay, why? In A level paper the answers should be practical. උත්තර ප්‍රායෝගික විය යුතුයි කියලා පොඩි ethic එකක් තියෙනවා. rule එකක් නෙමෙයි ethic එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ paper එක හදන්නේ එහෙම. So there are sometimes in papers just by using common sense you can get 15 MCQs out of 50 just by using common sense like this, okay? Common sense විතරක් use කරලා MCQ 50න් 15ක් විතර කරන්න පුළුවන්. Physics common sense. For this it makes sense, right? දැන් මම පළවෙනි රවුම පැයට කිලෝමීටර් 5කින් දිව්වා. I ran the first round using 5 kilometers per hour. Now they ask me to double the average velocity. That means I have to run the second round without time, right? Without taking any time. කිසිම කාලයක් ගන්න නැතුව දෙවෙනි රවුම දුවන්න වෙනවා නේද? ඔය කිව්ව වැඩේ කරන්න. පැහැදිලිද? ඔය කිව්ව වැඩේ කරන්න time එකක් නැතුව infinite speed එකකින් second round එක it's impossible. You don't have to write anything for that. ඒක ගන්න ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කිසිම දෙයක්. So one thing is whatever the question you do, okay, whatever the question you do, whatever the answer you get, compare it with your common sense. Common sense කියන එක use කරලා ඒක compare කරලා බලන්න හැම්බෙරින්. තේරුණා? මම මේ යන පාර හරිද? Whatever they are telling, is it possible? Whatever the answer I got, is this practical? I mean, you calculate the speed of a person, then you get 50 meters per second. Not possible, right? You calculate, you do a question, you get the answer, ඔයා ගානක් හදලා උත්තරේ එනවා velocity of a person 50 meters per second. In A level paper you should think, I have done something wrong. Why? Your common sense should be strong enough to understand that a person can't run at 50 meters per second. You think 50 meters means 50 meters in 1 second. Meter 50ක් තප්පරයකින්. But there's something like this. Tell me, if it is 10 meters per second, is it possible or not? Even I thought it is impossible. Why? You think 10 meters in 1 second. 10 meters means a huge distance. Meter 10ක් කියන්නේ ලොකු දුරක් නේ. 10 meters is a huge distance in 1 second. But what is the record for 100 meters? What is for the record for 100 meters? Anyone? 9.8. Even I thought it's humanly impossible. I thought the maximum velocity a person can run maybe 2 meters per second. මාත් හිතා හිටියේ තප්පරයට මීටර් 2ක් දුවයි කියලා ඕනනම්. But the record for 100 meters, it's 9.81 or something like that, right? That means what is the speed? 100 over 9.8 you would get something like 10 point something, like 10.2 or 10.1 or something. See, it's humanly impossible, but it's there, right? There are people running 10 meters, I mean, from here to maybe end of the hole, right? 10 meters means, yeah, at least uh, not more than half of the hole, right? More than half of the whole they are running in 1 second, right? So even when I'm doing calculations, I was thinking, I had that thing in my mind, like, okay, if I'm calculating the velocity of a person, I should get something like 3 meters per second maximum. But I out of nowhere, I thought of searching this. Okay, so it looks like impossible, but they have done it. Okay, they are running 10 more than 10 meters per second in like they are running more than 10 meters per second. So it's a huge value, and you know the story behind this one, right? That mental barrier. I mean, අවුරුදු ගානක්, okay, for years there was a rule that no one can finish 100-meter race within 10 seconds. Like it was like a convention. There were hundreds of Olympics, okay, not hundreds, a lot of Olympics, Kodak Olympics, Tibba. There were a lot of athletic events, but no one ever passed 10-second barrier. Why? Even for us, we feel like it's impossible, right? 10 seconds, I mean, 10 meters per second, huge velocity, right? There was a barrier like that. No one ever even dared to think about this, okay? No one even thought about I'm trying to go for this kind of value. It was in impossible's list. Okay. It was not a possible thing. එක පුළුවන් කියලා වැටිච්ච වැඩක් නේ, but I can't remember the person. Anyone knows? Carl is someone. No, I can actually remember the name. One guy passed this barrier. Okay. Then in the next Olympic, out of 10, around 8 people finished this in that time. Okay. Out of 10, around 8 people finished it in that time, because it has all the time it has been a mental barrier. Okay. People were thinking that it's impossible, but it was actually possible. It's something like that. Okay. Lot of people were thinking, okay, we should not try this because it is humanly impossible. We can never do this. Okay. They were thinking like that. Okay, මේක ජීවිතේට කරන්න බැරි වැඩක් කියලා හිතන් හිටියේ. One guy passed, then everyone suddenly understand, oh, it's possible. Next year, everyone ran that time. So it's always about mental barriers, even in physics. Okay, even in physics, it's always about mental barriers. You think that it's impossible. You think, area section first. Okay, we can never do that thing. Okay, like that guy, he always get hundreds for paper. I mean, it's humanly impossible. All are mental barriers. Okay, if you think that you can, and if you do enough work, you are going to go there. Okay, so is this question clear? මේක පැහැදිලිද හැමෝටම? මේක පැහැදිලිද? Okay, write it down. And this is a very famous question. I'll give you another question. It is a very famous question. Most of you guys may have seen it. මේක දැකලා ඇති සමහර විට. මේක ලියා ගන්න දෙයක් තියෙනවා නම් ලියා ගන්න. ඊළඟට මේ ගාන try කරන්න. There is a coin like this. There is a coin. මේ ගාන අහගන්න. There is a coin. Radius is 3 into r. There is a coin. Radius is 3 into r. මෙයාගේ අරය 3යි r. You rotate another coin. තව coin එකක් මේක වටේට මෙහෙම roll කරගෙන යනවා. Its radius is r. How many rounds it would cover when it go from this point to here? Clear? මෙතන රවුමක් තියෙනවා. මෙතන තව කාසියක් තියෙනවා. මම ඒව මේක වටේට ගෙනියනවා. Clear? I keep rotating it around this coin. Clear? I keep rotating it until it returns to this point. How many rounds will it travel before reaching to the same point? එකම තැනට එන්න කලින් එයා round කීයක් complete කරයිද? Clear? How many rounds will it travel before reaching to the same point again? පැහැදිලිද? Clear? Try that one, write this one. If it is not clear, please inform me. Okay, it's okay to not understand these things. Okay, like we haven't learned mechanics yet. Okay, so you will be capable of these things when you learn mechanics. Okay, but I'm just checking your knowledge and like I'm just training you how to think in the process. Okay. So it's okay not to understand this, but you have to ask me. Okay. Then I can explain it again and again. It may be 10 times, 100 times, no issue. It's okay to like not being able to understand this thing, but you have to inform me. මට කියන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් මම 10 පාරක් හරි කමකට explain කරන්න. But try from your side too. වාගේ පැත්තෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් උත්සාහ කරන්න. Okay. And like there's a political meeting at the next door today, so even our soundproofing would not be able to get rid of that. Sorry for that. I just check what is the sound. There's a political meeting here. Before there was a lot of sound because so we did a lot of soundproofing in this side, but today I don't think that the soundproofing would be capable of get rid of that thing. And when කවද්ද ඡන්දය තියෙන්නේ? When? 14th. You guys can't vote, right? Yet? No, right? What is the age? 18, not 18 yet? 17. Oh. Sorry. That is the obvious answer, but no. If it was 3, I won't give that question. Right? Try. Try more. Yeah. We got one answer. Correct. Sorry? No. But close. I mean, any answer you give, any answer you get is closer to the answer because like trying to get some kind of answer is better than getting nothing. Okay. So whatever you get, whatever the answer you get, that it's closer to the correct answer. මොන උත්තරය ආවත් ඒක හරි උත්තරයට ළඟයි කියලා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද that means you are trying. මේක පැහැදිලි නැති කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා නම් කියන්න. If anyone couldn't understand this thing, inform me. Okay. මේක පැහැදිලි නැති කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා නම් කියන්න අරක try කරන්න. And like for the people who finish these questions, there's a small tute, 1-page tute with difficult questions like this. You can try that. Okay. I usually in the class, I always give a daily tute so that who is capable, who get the answer first, they don't have to wait. Okay. They don't have to wait. They can try those tutes. Okay. That's something I usually do in the class. Man class එක හැම වෙලේම කරන දෙයක්. මම extra tute එකක් ගේනවා difficult questions තියෙන. එතකොට කාගේවත් වෙලාව නාස්ති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So just don't keep talking if you get the answer. go for that tute again, and always go for that tute. Try to finish it within the class. So whoever is capable, I mean, whoever finishes the questions quickly, like, you can try those questions so that you won't waste your time. For online people also, the tute is available in the group. Okay. ඉක්මනට ඉවර කරන හැමෝම මේ tute එක try කරන්න. අනිත් කට්ටිය answer එකට යන්න බලන්න. Yeah, online also I got the correct answer. Others, like whoever get the answers correct, try the other tute. Answers හරියට ගන්න කට්ටිය අනිත් tute එක try කරන්න. And another thing that is really important in these cases is like the interest about subject. Okay, try. Okay, do I will give you a revision tute every week, and like for now in my existing class there's a weekly paper. We do a weekly paper discussion for that class. There's a weekly tute question discussion. Anything is not mandatory. If you like, you can join those things. But for you guys also, I'll be giving a weekly paper, which is not mandatory. If you like, you can write that paper. Okay. If you think you need more experience in doing questions, you can do that paper. So within like 3-4 weeks, I'll be starting your weekly paper. Okay, you can write it anytime at the institute. Okay, you can usually come at any time, which is any time possible. You can come to the institute and write the paper, but it is not mandatory. Okay, if you like, you can write that. I'll be starting when I have covered enough content. That means most probably within 1 month, I'll be starting your weekly paper. I'm සතියකම පොඩි paper එකක් දෙනවා. මේ පොඩි කිව්වට ඒක complete paper එකක්. Okay, 2-hour paper. Okay, so that I can't guarantee you that I'll be able to cover everything and make you comfortable for the first term test because I started late. But for the when we are at second term test, I will make sure that you have enough experience and everything because I'm starting a term test paper discussion in December too. And December term test paper discussion negut පටන් ගන්නවා classes දෙකටම. So I will make sure that you are comfortable for the term test, okay? And term tests are important. If possible, if you're writing, term tests are important and our exams are also important because you get an experience and you know like how much more you have to do. Okay, තව කොච්චර වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේද කියලා හොයාගන්න වෙන්නේ ඒකෙන්. ඒක හින්දා අපි ඒවටත් වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. So there will be term test paper discussions and a weekly revision, so and a weekly paper. And when the content is little bit hard, now I'm doing it for my existing class. Now I'm doing it for my Sunday class. There's a weekly revision. Everything you learned, there will be a 1 hour revision before the class. Maybe the class is Sunday. We have that weekly revision is on Tuesday. It's a 1 hour revision of whatever the things that we have covered using questions. So that you won't forget things. Otherwise, මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා දන්නවන්නේ. I teach this day. You like look into nothing. Okay, you ඊළඟ දවසේ එනවා. You can't remember anything. Okay, so to avoid that situation, we have a weekly revision for Sunday class. But for now, we don't need that. Within 1 month's time, I'll start that weekly revision too. Okay. What is the answer? See, again, back to basics. Okay. How basics are there? Back to basics. මොනවද? See, what is the path that this coin travels? Clearly understand this thing. මේක හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න. I'll repeat the question. මම question එක repeat කරන්නම්. There's a coin like this, another coin like this. We keep rotating this coin until it returns to the same point. එකම තැනට එනකම් coin එක කරකවනවා. How many rounds will this coin rotate? මේ coin එක වට කීයක් කරකේද? Clear? ඔක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ. So try to understand this. Okay. Now this is 3R. See, this is 3R. What is the distance? What is the path that this coin travels? මේ coin එක යන පාර මොකක්ද? Many to this distance as 2 pi into 3R. What is the circumference of this circle? මෙයාගේ පරිධිය මොකක්ද? 2 pi into 3R, right? මේක නේද වටේ දිග වෙන්නේ. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය ගත්තේ ඒක. But this is the issue here. What is the actual path that this coin have to travel? මේ coin එක ඇත්තටම යන්න ඕන පාර මොකක්ද? What is the actual path that this coin should travel? This one. මේක නේද coin එක ඇත්තටම යන්න ඕන පාර. Clear? Coin should travel in this path, right? මේ පාර නේද coin එක යන්න ඕනේ. Clear? So it's traveling a circle with radius 4r actually. Clear? Actual distance that the coin travels is this. This is the actual path, right? මේක නේද ඇත්ත පාර? This is the actual path of the coin center, right? Center of the coin. So it's not actually going in a circle of radius 3r. It's going in a circle of radius 4r. Clear? එයා ඇත්තටම කරකෙන්නේ අර 3r වෙච්ච රවුමක නෙමෙයි. අර 4r වෙච්ච රවුමක. Clear? So because of that, now how to get the number of rounds? It's easy. This one should travel a total distance of 2 pi into 4r, right? රවුමක දිග මොකක්ද? What is this actual distance? 2 pi into 4r. Clear? මේක නේද මෙයා යන්න ඕන ඇත්ත රවුම. ඇත්ත දිග. What is the length of one round? මෙයාගේ එක රවුමක් කරකුණාම මෙයා යන දිග කොච්චරද? What is the length of one round? 2 pi r. What is the length of this one? What is the length of one round of this guy? 2 pi r, right? So one round means 2 pi r. Clear? මෙයාගේ එකක් කියන්නේ one round means 2 pi r. So how many do you need? Total distance 2 pi 4r. One round means 2 pi r. What do you get? කීය දෙන්නේ? 4. So you travel 4 rounds. ඔය වට හතරක් යන්න ඕනේ නේද මේක complete කරන්න. Clear? So that is the next message. Okay, we have to think a little bit ahead. And a really important thing, වැදගත් දෙයක්, draw a good diagram. ඔයා නිකමට හරි මෙයාගේ පාර අඳින්න හිතුවනම් මෙයා යන you get the answer, right? නිකමට හරි හිතුවනම් මෙයාගේ පාර අඳින්න ඕනේ කියලා. Okay, if you thought you have to draw the path that this guy travels, then you get the answer, right? So make your answer like very like graphically complete. Okay, always try to draw a very complete diagram. ගොඩක් සම්පූර්ණ රූප සටහනක් කියන එක ෆිසික්ස් වල මාර වැදගත්. මේ ටික ඇඳලා නිකන් ඉන්න එපා. What is the path? Then draw everything possible. Okay, it makes you really closer to the answer. Answer එකට යන්න සෑහෙන ලේසි හොඳ පින්තූරයක් ඇඳගත්තොත්. Okay, write this down. Clear, everyone? Everyone? Did you understand this thing? හැමෝටම පැහැදිලිද ඒක? Okay. I'll be soon moving into our lesson today, okay? Like I usually do 3 days of mathematics in my usual classes. So Sunday class, I started by doing these kind of questions and maths in 3 days. First 3 days we were doing that before before jumping into any content. But here what I'm doing is I'll like quickly jump into the content, into theory, and parallelly I'll be doing these kind of questions, okay? Parallelly I'll be doing different questions like that so that I can soon like finish enough content, okay, so that you are comfortable for your term test and everything all. Okay, clear everything? හැමෝටම පැහැදිලිද මේ තෙන්ට වෙනකන් කරපු ටික? Okay. So මම තව මේ වගේ ගණන් සෙට් එකකට එන්නම්. Okay, I'll return into some questions like this. So before that, let's move into our lesson. අපි lesson එක පටන් අරන් ඉමු. Then time to time I'll teach you math parts. Okay, there will be some separate sessions, some online sessions. Okay, things like that to cover whatever you have missed. Okay, so I'll be doing some maths sessions, not soon. Okay, for this lesson, like units and measurements, it's not required, but for mechanics, yeah, we must be really comfortable with whatever the maths, like all the maths parts required for physics. So I'll be parallelly teaching you physics parts, physics theory, and maths parts, and different questions like this. Okay, that is the plan for the class. Okay, clear, everyone? Okay. And there's a whole tute like with 5 or 6 questions like this. Okay, different questions like this. Please try it at home, but please believe me, like it's been going to be really difficult. Okay, you try the whole week, you may be able to do max 1 or 2 questions sometimes. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not gonna check. Mama check karanne. Every day bring this tute. Time to time I'll take 1 or 2 questions and complete them. මම දවසින් දවස ප්‍රශ්නය දෙක වගේ අරගෙන ඒ ටික complete කරලා දෙන්නම්, so that like you become slowly, then you will become comfortable in creative thinking. Okay, okay, චුට්ට චුට්ට අපි පුරුදු වෙමු හිතන්නේ කොහොමද ඒ ටික අපි පොඩ්ඩ පොඩ්ඩ comfortable වෙමු. It takes time. Okay, ඒකට කොච්චර කල් ගියත් කමක් නැහැ. So I'll jump into the lesson. Units and measurements, ඒකක හා units and dimensions, basically ඒකක හා මාන, units and dimensions. Before moving into the like theory part, I think it's better for you. I think ඕගොල්ලෝ මේක දැකලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේක පොඩ්ඩක් මේ මුලින්ම මේ units, measurements, dimensions කොහෙන්ද පාත් තුනේ කියන එක අපි දැනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. Okay, otherwise there's something called meter, something called kilogram. Who defined this? Who found this? Like how these things started, it's a problem, right? Okay, so let's start with that thing. Okay, a small history lesson, then we will move into the theory part. Okay, let's start with a little bit of history. Online students, can you see this clearly, and can you
what's the
hear the
connection to
sound
the
of
French
the
Revolution?
recording?
Let's explain.
Online students, please.
For the majority of recorded human
Okay,
history,
thank you.
units
Is
like
it clear?
the width of a
Sound, is
grain
the sound
or
clear?
the length of a hand.
Okay.
What does the French Revolution have to do with the time NASA accidentally crashed a $200 million orbiter into the surface of Mars? Actually, everything. That crash happened due to an error in converting between two measurement systems, US customary units and their SI or metric equivalents. So what's the connection to the French Revolution? Let's explain. For the majority of recorded human history, units like the weight of a grain or the length of a hand weren't exact and varied from place to place. And different regions didn't just use varying measurements, they had completely different number systems as well. By the late Middle Ages, the Hindu-Arabic decimal system mostly replaced Roman numerals and fractions in Europe. But efforts by scholars like John Wilkins to promote standard decimal-based measures were less successful. With 250,000 different units in France alone, any widespread change would require massive disruption. And in 1789, that disruption came. The leaders of the French Revolution didn't just overthrow the monarchy. They sought to completely transform society according to the rational principles of the Enlightenment. When the new government took power, the Academy of Sciences convened to reform the system of measurements. Old standards based on arbitrary authority or local traditions were replaced with mathematical and natural relationships. For example, the meter, from the Greek word for measure, was defined as 1/10,000,000th between the equator and North Pole. And the new metric system was, in the words of the Marquis de Condorcet, for all people, for all time. Standardizing measurements had political advantages for the revolutionaries as well. Nobles could no longer manipulate local units to extract more rent from commoners, while the government could collect taxes more efficiently. And switching to a new republican calendar with 10-day weeks reduced church power by eliminating Sundays. Adoption of this new system wasn't easy. In fact, it was a bit of a mess. At first, people used new units alongside old ones, and the republican calendar was eventually abandoned. When Napoleon Bonaparte took power, he allowed small businesses to use traditional measurements, redefined in metric terms. But the metric system remained standard for formal use, and it spread across the continent along with France's borders. While Napoleon's empire lasted 8 years, its legacy endured far longer. Some European countries reverted to old measurements upon independence. Others realized the value of standardization in an age of international trade. After Portugal and the Netherlands switched to metric voluntarily, other nations followed, with colonial empires spreading the system around the world. As France's main rival, Britain had resisted revolutionary ideas and retained its traditional units. But over the next 2 centuries, the British Empire slowly transitioned, first approving the metric system as an optional alternative before gradually making it official. However, this switch came too late for 13 former colonies that had already gained independence. The United States of America stuck with the English units of its colonial past, and today remains one of only 3 countries which haven't fully embraced the metric system. Despite constant initiatives for metrication, many Americans consider units like feet and pounds more intuitive. And ironically, some regard the once revolutionary metric system as a symbol of global conformity. Nevertheless, the metric system is almost universally used in science and medicine, and it continues to evolve according to its original principles. For a long time, standard units were actually defined by carefully maintained physical prototypes. But thanks to improving technology and precision, these objects with limited access and unreliable longevity are now being replaced with standards based on universal constants, like the speed of light. Consistent measurements are such an integral part of our daily lives that it's hard to appreciate what a major accomplishment for humanity they've been. And just as it arose from a political revolution, the metric system remains crucial for the scientific revolutions to come.
Okay, so online students can hear me clearly, right? Online කටට මා පැහැදිලිව ඇහෙනව නේද? Okay, so okay තමයි basic idea එක. Okay, that's how everything started. Okay, that's how everything started. I mean, we like everything begin this way. හැමදේම පටන් ගත්ත මේ විදිහට මොකක්ද ඔය units measurements කියන requirement එක ආවේ. like ඉස්සර හැමෝම බෙදලානේ හිටියේනේ. like the ඔය එදිනෙදා පාවිච්චි වෙන්න එක මැනගන්න මොකක් හරි method එකක් තිබ්බම හොඳට වැදිනේ. initially just measuring day to day things was the most important thing and it was really enough. Okay, it was really enough. But when the international trading and everything started, there was a requirement to standardize everything. Okay, හැමදේම standardize කරන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් ආවේ international trading එක විශේෂයෙන් French Revolution වගේ දේවල් එක්ක. So with that they had to standardize everything so that everyone uses the same measurement. So different people like turned into these standardizations. Metric system you have heard, right? Metric system එක කියන කල් තියෙනවන්නේ. කට්ටිය මේ standardize කරපු පැත්තට හැරුණා. But some didn't, like US. Okay, they are not entirely using these. Like that was the problem. Okay, that was the problem. Why they were using a different thing. Like I remember that it was a 200 million project or something like that. A satellite to orbit around Mars or something like that. The first you saw in the video. The problem was one part. The ground communication module was handled by Russians and the satellites were handled by US people. It's something like that. So the processors in the satellite were made by satellite and rocket were made by US people. ඒක හැදුවේ US කට්ටිය. මේ අනිත් පැත්තෙන් ground information ආවේ Russia වලින්. So the problem was there were different two unit systems. No one thought about that. So whatever the data you send, these people tell in kilometers and this guy understand in miles. So whatever this person tells in kilometers, he understand. But maths doesn't know, right? The processor doesn't know that, doesn't know the unit, right? Computer processors work with numbers. Computer processors are numbers. This guy tell in kilometers, that guy here in miles. So that was the reason for that crash, and it is a very famous thing. Okay, it was a very famous thing. After that, lot of rules came, so because it's $1 million project, not like a car accident or something like that. Okay, body car accident එකක් නම් අමතක කරන්න තිබ්බනේ නේ. Okay, they are really huge issues. Like I mean, everyone were believing in the metric system. Only one country, and a powerful country, they don't believe in metric system. So it was a huge problem in these kind of things. Okay. ඉතින් මේකත් එක්ක okay මේකත් එක්ක ඊළඟට මුලින්ම ඒගොල්ලෝ දේවල් ඩිෆයින් කරගත්ත කොහොමද මීටර් කියන එක ඩිෆයින් කරේ they took this distance, something that they can recreate. Okay, something they can recreate. They took this distance and took this distance earth. Then they divide it by some value and then mention it as 1 meter. Okay, things like natural things they connected with units. Okay, අර naturally තියෙන දේවල් අරන් ඒවා units එක්ක combine කරන එක තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ කරේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. But kilograms කොහොමද ගන්න? Kilograms, there were problems like that. Meter, original meter was I can't remember the country. There's this metric system, something like metric system corporation. They had original 1 meter length. They had a metal bar. This is 1 meter. They have a metal cube there. This is 1 kilogram. Okay, in a something like, it's not a museum exactly, it's a standardization office in their head office. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ head office එකේ ඒගොල්ලෝ ගාව තියෙනවා මීටරේ bar එකක්, kilogram එකේ යකඩ කුට්ටියක් ඔය වගේ තියෙනවා. Okay, but the problem was these things can't be created again. මේ ටික කවුරු හරි ඉස්සුවොත් මීටරේ නැති වෙනවන්නේ. Okay, if someone steal this, what would happen? You don't have a meter anymore. Okay, if someone steal this, you don't have a kilogram anymore. You don't have a standard for kilogram anymore. Okay, so due to these reasons, they shifted these values for into more natural things. Okay, because of that, they are still using them, but now it acts more like a museum. Then like a museum එකක් වගේ තමයි. Why? This is original 1 meter bar, but that's not, they don't define 1 meter that way. Okay, දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ මීටරේ ඔහොම define කරන්නේ නැහැ. Okay, now they use very recreatable things like they measure the velocity of light. Velocity of light. ආලෝකයේ වේගය ගන්නවා. What is the velocity of light? 3 into 10 to the power 8. This is really universal. This is really universal. I mean, speed of light here at Mars, anywhere. Okay, anywhere speed of light is same, right? කොහෙ මැන්නත් ආලෝකයේ වේගය එකයි නේද? කොහෙ මැන්නත් ආලෝකයේ වේගය එකයි නේ. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? They took this thing and divide it by, they take speed of light and divide it by 3 into 10 to the power 8. Then they get 1 meter. Okay, so now how they have defined these measurements is, you take speed of light somehow, then divide it by 3 into 10 to the power 8. ආලෝකයේ වේගය ගන්න එක 3 වැඩි කිරීම 18න් බෙදන්න. You have the answer. Clear? එතකොට answer එක එනවා. So now they have standardized these things this way. Okay, you don't have to remember these things. Okay, just mentioning. Okay, you have to know these things. Okay, when before start working on these things, මේක වැඩ කරන්න කලින් කොහොමද ආවේ කියලා දැනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ නේ. That's why I'm mentioning these things. This is how the meter was created. මෙහෙම තමයි meter කියන එක මුලින්ම ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් define කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Okay, so for kilograms everything you have different standards like this, which is mentioned in your note. ඔයගලගේ note එකේ ඒවා දාලා තියෙනවා. පරණ ඒවා දාලා ඇති සමහර තැන්වල. You don't even just read those things, but it's not mandatory. Okay, ඔයා මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. physics එකේ ඊට වඩා ඕන තරම් දේවල් තියෙනවා. Okay, මතක තියාගන්න. Okay, you don't have to think about these things. You must be able to work with meters. Okay, you must be able to work with kilograms, and that's all. Okay, you have to have the capacity to work with meters and kilograms, and that's all. මේවා මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Okay, so so with that being said, let's move to the lesson. අපි lesson එකට යමු. Online කට්ටිය ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගාව tute එක තියෙනව නේද? Online students, can you find the note? Anyone, please let me know if you can't find the note. Okay, so when we are learning about physical quantities, භෞතික රාශි, What is the reason to learn about physical quantities? Just as we learn standardize to standardize things. Okay. කට්ටිය එක එක විදිවලට එක එක ඒව මයින ඕක කරන්න බැරි වැඩන්නේ නේ. Okay, different people measure different things in different ways. Okay, so it's difficult to manage these things. So we have to standardize these things. That's why we learn this thing. Okay, otherwise, even in physics, that's why this is not actually a lesson. Okay, this is we are teaching how to apply like units, things like so that even you and we are in the same page. Otherwise, you may write answers in miles, we will check answers in meters. Same thing happens in like okay, same thing happens. So just to standardize things, okay, so that everyone is in the same page, to make sure that everyone is using the same units, to make sure that everyone is using the same dimensions. That's why we are learning this lesson. Okay, Hari. So physical quantities, භෞතික රාශීන්, physical quantities. What are physical quantities? මොනවාද භෞතික රාශි කියන්නේ? Before standardizing things, we have to learn what are we going to standardize. මොනවාද standardize කරන්න කියලා බලන්න බෑ මුලින්නේ. What are we going to standardize? We are going to standardize physical quantities. භෞතික රාශීන් තමයි මේ standardize කරන්න හදන්නේ. What is a physical quantity? Something can be directly or indirectly measured is a physical quantity. ඍජුව හෝ වක්‍රාකාරව මයින්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් භෞතික රාශියක්. පැහැදිලිද? Something that can be measured. Okay. So when defining these physical quantities, we divide it into three main parts. අපි මේ ප්‍රධාන කොටස් තුනකට භෞතික රාශි බෙදනවා. What are they? Basic physical quantities, derived physical quantities, and supplementary physical quantities. මූලික භෞතික රාශි, ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි සහ පරිපූර්ණක භෞතික රාශි. So first let's learn about physical basic physical quantities. මුලින්ම මූලික භෞතික රාශි ගැන ඉගෙන ගමු. What are these basic physical quantities? There are things that are independent from everything. There are things that are independent from everything. That means you take velocity. Velocity, ප්‍රවේගය ගන්න. Velocity is length over time, right? Length over time. Velocity is length over time. ප්‍රවේගය කියන්නේ දුර බෙදීම කාලය. That means this is formed using two other physical quantities. මෙයාව එන්නේ තව භෞතික රාශි දෙකක් පාවිච්චි කරලානේ මෙයාව හදන්නේ. You find velocity using two other physical quantities. Clear? So this is not basic. මේක මූලික නෑ. මෙයාව හදන්න තව දෙන්නෙක් ඕනේ. But tell me, length, it's basic, right? You can't multiply time or divide something by time or do anything and get length, right? Length itself is a basic quantity. ඒක දිග කියන්නේ මූලික භෞතික රාශියක් නේ. වෙන කිසිම දෙයක් අඩු වැඩි කරලා එකතු අඩු කරලා නෙමෙයි length එක හැදෙන්නේ. ඒක කෙලින්ම මට දකින්න තියෙන දෙයක් නේ. Velocity, something I can't see. I can see length. I can feel the time. Then I get velocity. මට දුරක් යනවා පේනවා, කාලයක් ගත වෙනවා පේනවා. ඒකෙන් මම ප්‍රවේගෙ මහිනවා. But length, it's something I can directly see. So the basic quantities, basic physical quantities are the things that I can directly see, things that are independent from others, things that cannot be derived using other physical quantities. වෙනත් භෞතික රාශීන් භාවිතා කරලා extract කරගන්න බැරි. වෙනත් භෞතික රාශීන් පාවිච්චි කරලා ව්‍යුත්පන්න කරගන්න බැරි ටික තමයි මූලික භෞතික රාශි කියන්නේ. තේරුණාද? Basic quantities are physical quantities that can't be derived using others. Clear? What are these basic physical quantities? මූලික භෞතික රාශි. Length, mass. Next, time. What are others? Electric current. Next, you have everything in your note. Temperature. Next, amount of substance. Next, luminous intensity. දිග, ස්කන්ධය, කාලය, ධාරාව. I'll take this as temperature. උෂ්ණත්වය, amount of substance, පදාර්ථ ප්‍රමාණය, දීප්ත තීව්‍රතාවය, light intensity or luminous intensity. Length measured in දිගමයින්න මොකෙන්ද? Length measured in meters, දිගමයින්න meter වලින්, symbol meters. Mass divide measured in kilograms, කාලයමයින්න මොකෙන්ද? Time measured in seconds. Electric current measured in ධාරාවමයින්නේ amperes. Temperature measured in උෂ්ණත්වයමයින්නේ Kelvin. Amount of substance පදාර්ථ ප්‍රමාණයමයින්නේ මවුල වලින් mole. Luminous intensity දීප්ත තීව්‍රතාවමයින්නේ candela. C, D. See, some things are capital, some are simple. We have to analyze these things. Okay. Okay. So, මේ තියෙන්නේ මූලික භෞතික රාශි ටික. Fundamental physical quantities. Next, we get derived physical quantities. ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි වලට move වෙනවා ඊළඟට. What are derived physical quantities? And one thing to mention, I'm not going to be in this lesson. Okay, මම මේ lesson එක වැඩි කල් කරන්නේ නැහැ. Why? We just learn basic things. We move into mechanics, and in mechanics, you use these units again and again, not hundred, thousands of times. You use these units again and again. Then you become comfortable with these units. Okay. So we are not going to be in this lesson. Maybe for 1 or 2 weeks we will be in this lesson, and we will soon jump into other lessons. In those lessons, we will learn units again and again. Okay. That is my plan. That's my usual approach. Okay. So what are derived physical quantities? ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි කියන්නේ මොනවද? What are derived physical quantities? We can take anything that could be created by combining these, right? මේගොල්ලන්ව එකතු කරලා combine කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන් ඕනම දෙයක්. Area. Very simple example. වර්ගඵලය area. What is area? Area is length into length, right? දිගක් තව දිගකින් වැඩි කරලානේ වර්ගඵලය ගන්නෙ. Length into length measured in meter square. Measured in meter square. So density ඝනත්වය. What is density? Mass over volume. Mass over volume, right? ස්කන්ධයේ බෙදීම පරිමාවණය කරත්වය කියන්නේ. Volume means length into length into length, right? දිග තුන් පාරක් ගුණ කරලා නේද volume එක ගන්නෙ. You multiply 3, you use 3 different length values, right? Maybe A, B, C, right? Everything is a length, right? හැමෝම දිගක් නේ. So for volume, you multiply length into length, right? Length into length into length. What is the unit? Here you have, this is M, mass. Mass is measured in kilograms. Mass is measured in kilograms. ස්කන්ධය වයින්නේ kilogram වලින් නේ. දිගමයින්නේ meter වලින්. It's measured in meters. So you get this. Then you get clear. Okay. So there are hundreds of examples like this, even in the note. I'm not going to explain everything. Why? Force. You are going to be really comfortable with force in Newton laws lesson. Newton නියම වල බලය ගැන හොඳටම ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. Work, there's a separate lesson to learn about work. කාර්ය ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න වෙනම පාඩමක් තියෙනවා. Work, power and energy. කාර්ය ශක්තිය ක්ෂමතාවය. To learn about pressure, there's another lesson. පීඩනය ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න තව පාඩමක් තියෙනවා. Fluid mechanics. ද්‍රවස්ථිත විද්‍යාව. Clear? ඒකින්ද මේවා ගැන අපි වෙන වෙනම මේවා ඉගෙනගෙන මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. You will find everything in mechanics lesson, okay? So we are not going to read and remember these things. Don't even try to remember these things. Why? You will be, in mechanics, you don't have to remember these things. Why? When you write the same unit 100 times, you will definitely remember it, right? එකම unit එක 100 පාරක් ලියුවා මතක හිටිනවනේ නේ. එහෙනම් මෙතෙන් කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නේ. You don't have to study it here, right? when you read the same unit and when you write the same unit 100 times in force and momentum lesson, Baleha Gammetawa Padame, you write the units of force 1,000 times. Then you will remember it, okay? Just don't study without a plan, okay? I'm teaching in a way that you can have to study a very minimal amount, okay? That is my approach. Physics is not a subject that we have to study. It's just a lesson that we have to understand, okay? So you understand everything very well, then you don't have to study anything. That is my approach. So when we work with few units like this, මේ වගේ units එක වැඩ කරද්දි, okay? When we work with units like this, there are some units that have special names, usually to respect the person who found that, okay? There are special units like this, Newton is a single name for a derived quantity. Newton කියන්නේ මේ වගේ ව්‍යුත්පන්න කරගත්ත භෞතික රාශියකට, okay? ව්‍යුත්පන්න කරගත්ත භෞතික රාශියකට දෙන තනි unit එකක්. Okay? So there are special units with special names like this, okay? For an example, let's take pressure, or else let's take force. You know a equation for force. What is a equation for force? You know one equation. බලයට එක equation එකක් දන්නවා. මොකද F equals ma. F equals ma. What is acceleration? Velocity over time. ත්වරණය කියන්නේ ප්‍රවේගය බෙදීම කාලයනේ. You will learn these things. මේවා පස්සේ ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. Velocity over time. So, what is the unit of m? Mass, kilograms. What is the unit of velocity? ප්‍රවේගයේ unit එක? Meters per second. What is the unit of time? Seconds. So you have kilogram meters per second square. Clear? You have this unit. Clear? We give a single name for this as newtons. මෙයාට දෙන තනි නම. Okay? Single name given for this guy is newtons. Clear? So likewise, there are special units. Okay? There are special units with special names. Okay? Usually respecting the person who was involved in finding them. Okay? ඒගොල්ලන්ව හොයාගන්න හොයාගත්ත එක්කෙනෙක්ට වගේ respect කරන්න මෙහෙම විශේෂ නම් දීපු කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. So what are they? Newtons, Pascals, Joules, Watt, Hertz. You should see everything is starting with capital. Why? Because it was found by a person. I'll explain them later. So this is the basic idea. Clear? Okay. Then there are some physical quantities without units also. I'm not going to stress in these areas or remember these things because we are working with them when in mechanics. Okay, යාන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාව මේවා ගැන හොඳටම ඉගෙන ගන්න. ඒකින්ද වැඩි මේවා ගැන කරදර වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ මේ වෙලාවේ. There are some physical quantities without units. Okay, who are they? Relative density. Why? Why relative density doesn't have a unit? ඇයි ඒකකයක් නැත්තේ සාපේක්ෂ ඝනත්වයට? Relative density means density over density of water. කාගේ හරි ඝනත්වයේ බෙදීම ජලයේ ඝනත්වය නේද සාපේක්ෂ ඝනත්වය කියන්නේ. So it's density, units of density over units of density. That means no units, right? Here you have, then here you have this. They cancels out, right? Clear? So no units. Everything relative. All the physical quantities that are relative. සාපේක්ෂව ගත්ත හැම භෞතික රාශියක්ම, okay? Every physical quantity which is relative, they don't have units, okay? ඕනම සාපේක්ෂ භෞතික රාශියකට ඒකක නැහැ. Clear? So there are different physical quantities without units. You will learn them in mechanics and every other lesson. Relative density, relative humidity, relative permittivity, coefficient of friction, refractive index, different physical quantities which doesn't have units. Next thing, supplementary quantities. Supplementary quantities. Before moving into supplementary quantities, it's 5:15. I usually continue until 6:15 and it will go into 6:30 later. Okay. Uh, so I'll give you a 10 minutes interval. Okay. I'll give you a 10 minutes interval. If you like, you can keep doing the first question of that difficult question, dude. You have a small difficult question, dude. You can keep doing it for that 10 minutes. I'll give you a 10-minute break so that I can continue next part without like any issue. So it's 5:15. I'll be starting at 5:25. Okay. I'll be starting at 5:25. If you like, you can do the first question there. Otherwise, you can take the interval. If you like, the washrooms are in this side at the institute. Okay. check. Okay. Next part. So we learned about basic physical quantities, මූලික භෞතික රාශි ගැන ඉගෙන ගත්තා, and derived physical quantities. ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි ගැන ඉගෙන ගත්තා. Okay. Basic physical quantities and derived physical quantities. Next. What's next? Next one is, so now I think you have a very brief understanding about basic and derived physical quantities, right? මූලික හා ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි ගැන අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවනේ. I'm not going into like a lot of examples because you can just read the note. නිකන් note එක බලන්න ඔක්කොම පේනවා. But my request is just read it, okay? Just read it as reading a novel or something like that. Just don't try to like study anything, okay? Don't try to study anything because this is just introduction that you will find these kind of things in later lessons. That's all, okay? Just don't study these things. Just go through the note and that's all, okay? So there are basic physical quantities, මූලික භෞතික රාශි තියෙනවා, and derived physical quantities, ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි තියෙනවා. What's next is supplementary physical quantities. Supplementary physical quantities, that means these supplementary physical quantities are the physical quantities that doesn't fall into both categories. Not fundamental physical quantities, මූලික භෞතික රාශිත් නෙමෙයි, and at the same time they are not derived physical quantities. ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි වගේ කියලා කියන්නත් බෑ. I mean, this in our syllabus, how we define these them is they are the physical quantities that doesn't fall into both categories. අපි අපේ සිලබස් එකේ මේගොල්ලන් වර්ථ දක්වන්නේ මේගොල්ලෝ තමයි භෞතික රාශියෙන් අර කැටගරිස් දෙකටම වැටෙන්නේ නැති. But actually it has a very precise definition than that which we usually do not mention in our syllabus, okay? But later you would understand, the basic definition of supplementary quantities is they have units but no dimensions. They have units but no dimensions. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒකක තියෙනවා මාන නැහැ. That's the nature of a supplementary physical quantity. ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශියක් කියන්නේ ඒකක තියෙනවා මාන නැහැ. But you haven't learned about dimensions yet. Okay, at least in this class you haven't learned about dimensions yet. So I will again remind this definition when I'm done with dimensions. Okay, අපි මාන ඉගෙන ගත්තට පස්සේ මේකේ definition එක ආයි චුට්ටක් මතක් කරගමු. For now just like learn that it's units. They are the physical quantities with units but no dimensions. ඒවට ඒකක තියෙනවා හැබැයි මාන නැහැ. What are the two supplementary physical quantities? මොනවාද ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික පරිපූර්ණක භෞතික රාශි දෙක සිලබස් එකෙන්? What are these two supplementary physical quantities? One is plane angle and other one is solid angle. තල කෝණයයි ඝන කෝණයයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? This is an angle, right? This is an angle. Okay? This is a plane angle. තලයක් තියෙන කෝණයක්, තල කෝණයක් නේ. So this is angle in a plane. We measure it in radians. අපි ආව මයින්නේ radians වලින්. We measure it in radians. Clear? Unit is this. This is the symbol of the unit. Radians, symbol of the unit is this. මේ තියෙන්නේ අඳින සංකේතය. ඒකකයේ දාන සංකේතය. Clear? Next one, solid angle. What is a solid angle? ඝන කෝණය. What is a solid angle? ඝන කෝණය කියන්නේ මේ වගේ කෙනෙක්. You take a sphere. Okay? Let's see whether we have a sphere here. Yeah, kind of. You take a sphere. Then you draw a square in the surface. You draw a square in the surface. You draw a square in the surface of the sphere. That square creates an angle with the center, right? Is that clear? That square creates something like a cone, right? this square creates something like a cone. It creates something like a cone here, right? This angle, it's a angle in, it's a three-dimensional angle, right? මේක අපිට එක තලයක තියෙන කෝණයක් නෙමෙයිනේ. මේක 3D කෝණයක් නේද? It's a three-dimensional angle. These three-dimensional angles, okay. මේ වගේ කෝණ වලට අපි කියන ඝන කෝණ කියලා. Clear? These are solid angles, okay. These are solid angles. These three-dimensional angles, okay. ඒක හදන්නේ මෙතන හදන අඳින මොකක් හරි හැඩයකින්. තේරුණාද? surface එකේ අදින ඕන හැඩයකින් ඕක හදන්න පුළුවන්. Clear? It's measured in steradians. මේක measure කරන්නේ steradians වලින්. SR. This is measured in steradians, SR. And in our syllabus, this is the only place that you will find this, okay? මේක ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න එකම තැන මේක. We don't use these 3D angles in our syllabus. අපේ syllabus එකේ 3D angles එක වැඩ කරන්න නැහැ. But definitely you have to learn about radians, okay? You must learn about radians. You have to remember radians. Everything about radians you have to know. But steradians, no, okay? You don't have to learn anything about steradians. Clear? Okay. Hi. Come. Okay. So, very brief description about what you missed. I was explaining about supplementary physical quantities. පරිපූර්ණක භෞතික රාශි ගැන කිය හිටියේ. There are two supplementary physical quantities. One thing is plane angle in a plane. One thing is plane angle, තල කෝණය, plane angle measured in radians. Another one is a solid angle, ඝන කෝණය. How do we measure a solid angle? We get a sphere. We draw a square like this on the surface. That square creates a cone like this, right? It creates a cone like this with the center. That angle, that cone-like angle, it is the solid angle. Clear? ඔකට තමයි ඝන කෝණය කියන්නේ. පැහැදිලිද? So these are supplementary physical quantities. පරිපූර්ණක භෞතික රාශි, that means physical quantities that doesn't fall into both categories. What are the categories we learned before? Fundamental and derived. මූලික සහ ව්‍යුත්පන්න කියන කැටගරි දෙකට වැටෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය තමයි මොනවද මේකේ ඉන්නේ. පැහැදිලිද? Clear everyone? Nice. Now what's next? I explained something like this. මම කිව්වා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මට මතකයි මේ දැන් අපි now we are done with all the categories, okay? All the categories of units we have learned that, but we have to understand there are several other types of units too. මේක note එකේ පස්සේ තැනක තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි මම ඒකත් මෙතන mention කරන් යන්නම්. We learned about what are the three types of units that we learned. අපි ඉගෙන ගත්ත units type radians ගැන මම පස්සේ උගන්වනවා, okay? What are the three types of units that we learned? Fundamental මූලික භෞතික රාශි, derived physical quantities ව්‍යුත්පන්න භෞතික රාශි, and supplementary physical quantities. Fundamental, derived and supplementary. මූලික, ව්‍යුත්පන්න සහ පරිපූර්ණක. පැහැදිලිද? Clear everyone? Okay. These are the three types of units that we learn. But there are very different units too, okay? This is the basic framework of SI system. SI ඒකක ක්‍රමය කියලා කියන්නේ නේ. SI unit system. This is the basic framework of SI system, okay? But specific industries, they use their own units. සමහර industries තියෙන ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ units පාවිච්චි කරනවා. දැන් ලංකාවේ වුණත් even in Sri Lanka, if you consider the gem industry, they use their own words, okay? If you consider gem industry, they use their own words, their own units, okay? If you take tea industry, they have their own units, okay? So different industries have their separate set of units which we can't completely forget. අපිට සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අමතක කරන්න බැරි units තියෙනවා. හරිද? very industry වලට අයිති. Just because that we are learning SI unit system doesn't mean we are only working with SI. SI එක විතරක් වැඩ කරන්න බෑ. One very common example. light years used in astronomy, oh, like astrophysics basically, not astronomy, is astrophysics. Okay. Light years, not nothing related to SI system. SI ඒකක ක්‍රමයට අදාළ දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. Like if you need me to reduce, like you need me to change AC, no, right? Okay, I usually, today it's not the situation. I usually put all the ACs into 19 because we usually in office and everywhere as engineers, we are used to very cold environments. It makes you productive. So if you are freezing there, please let me know. Okay. I think there's no problem as such today, right? Because it's at 25 or something like that today. Okay. So, so there are units that are completely ඒකක තියෙනවා මේ SI ක්‍රමයට අදාළම නැහැ, but we have to know. One example is light years. What is light years? What do we measure using light years? ආලෝක වර්ෂ පාවිච්චි කරලා මොනවද වයින්නේ? Length, right? Distance. Light years is a measurement of distance. දුරමයින ඒකකයක් නේද ආලෝක වර්ෂ කියන්නේ? ආලෝක වර්ෂ එකක් කියන්නේ කොච්චරද? The distance that light travels in 1 year. ආලෝකය අවුරුද්දක් තුල ගමන් කරන දුරනේ. Distance that light travels in 1 year. That means in meters වලින් ගත්තොත් what is the velocity of light? ආලෝකයේ වේගය 3 into 10 to the power 8. 3 වැඩි කිරීම 18 ආලෝකයේ වේගය, velocity of light. Clear? In this velocity you travel 1 year. 1 year. අවුරුද්දක් යනවා මේ වේගෙන්. That means what? 365 days for a year. It's not actually 365, but let's take 365. අවුරුද්දට දවස් 365යි. 24 hours per day. 60 minutes per hour. 60 seconds per minute. Minute වලට තප්පර 60යි. So this is the distance. This is 1 light year. මේ තියෙන එක ආලෝක වර්ෂයක්. Clear? And like in like when we talk about space industry, we talk about traveling 10 like different number of light years, and usually still we are not traveling light years. Okay, I mean not a lot of light years. Still we are not capable of going traveling very large numbers of light years. අපිට ආලෝක වර්ෂ ලොකු ගණන් යන්න බෑ, but we are capable of looking at very huge distances, like very huge light years. Okay, I mean this is the issue. Like, have you watched space movies? බලන්නද කට්ටිය? No, the Prometheus. No, who have watched Prometheus? No one. At least let's start with Interstellar. We have a lot. Okay, it's coming, I think, in December, right? December it's coming in IMAX. So just go and watch. If you like science, watch Interstellar. At least Interstellar. It's the basic requirement of doing science. Okay. So watch Interstellar. It's like the not maths or physics or anything. It's a basic requirement for you to do science. Okay. Interstellar Okay. Anyways. So if you haven't watched Interstellar, no point of asking about Prometheus kind of stuff. So so in all these space movies, we are traveling, like we will be soon capable of that. Okay. We will be, like you saw that heavy booster, right? Heavy booster landing. Anyone? Yeah. So we will be soon capable of traveling light years, but it's a different story. But we are capable of, we have telescopes that can look into hundreds of light years. ආලෝක වර්ෂ ගොඩාක් දුර බලන්න පුළුවන් telescopes තියෙනවා අපි ගාව. Okay. It's there. Why do we need a telescope to watch like maybe 100 light years? ඇයි ආලෝක වර්ෂ 100ක් එහාට බලන්න ඕනේ? What is the basic requirement? There are two requirements. Okay. To look into hundreds of light years, we like recently we used a James Webb telescope. James Webb telescope can focus into hundreds of light years away. Okay. Why do we look that far? ඇයි එච්චර දුර බලන්නේ? There are two reasons. Maybe to understand about those planets and everything. Another main reason is to understand the history of universe. To understand the history of the universe, how things were started, how things were created. How, I mean, these long range telescopes, or something different story, okay, but it's important to know these things. What is the importance of looking into I mean, how can these long range telescopes, we call them time machines. මේ දිග දුර බලන මේ ටෙලස්කෝප්ස් වලට අපි කියනවා දුරේක්ෂ වලට කියනවා time machines කියලා. Why do we call them time machines? Why do we call these telescopes time machines? They can look into past. They can look into past. How? Tell me. There's another planet. Okay. There's a person there. Uh, his age is 100 years. His age is 100 years. Clear? You have a telescope. You have a telescope at Earth which can look into 90 light years. The distance here is 90 light years. Okay. When he is 100 years old, මෙයාට වයස මෙතන ආලෝක වර්ෂ 90ක දුර ඉඳන් අපි ටෙලස්කෝප් එකකින් බලන් ඉන්නවා. මෙයාට වයස 100 දී අපිට මෙයාව පේන්නේ අවුරුදු කීයේ හිටපු හැටිද? එයා 10, right? What we can see is the same guy at 10 years. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? This light that, I mean, whatever the light emits from this person, මෙයාගෙන් එළියට එන ආලෝකය, it takes 9, it's light, right? So it takes 90 years to travel up to this point. එයාට මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනට එන්න අවුරුදු 90ක් යනවානේ. It takes 90 years for this light to travel to this point. So now what I'm seeing is something happened 90 years before. Clear? මට දැන් පේන්නේ අවුරුදු 90කට කලින් වෙච්ච දේවල් නේ. Whatever the light I'm receiving now, it happened 90 years before. So if I can clear හැමෝටම පැහැදිලිද ඒක? අවුරුදු 90කට කලින් data නේද මට දැන් පේන්නේ. So if I can look into 90 light years, I can see 90 years past. අවුරුදු 90ක් ඉතිහාසයට බලන්න පුළුවන් මට ආලෝක වර්ෂ 90ක් එහාට පේනවනම්. Then if I can look into 10 billion light years, I can look into 10 billion past, right? 10 billion years of past. Clear? මට ආලෝක වර්ෂ බිලියන 10ක් බල පිටිපස්සට බලන්න බිලියන 10ක් ඈතට බලන්න පුළුවන් කියන්නේ මට දැන් පේනවා අවුරුදු බිලියන 10කට කලින් වෙච්ච ඒවා. Clear? This is not exactly same why universe is expanding. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනව නැත්තේ නෑ. But this is the basic idea of light years. Okay. So now you should understand why it's really important for them to discuss things in light years. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ආලෝක වර්ෂ වලින් ඕක කතා කරන එක මාර ලේසිනේ. When one scientist go and tell other guy, we found a planet at 100 light years away. They know this guy is talking about something happened 100 years before. අවුරුදු 100කට කලින් වෙච්ච දෙයක් ගැන තමයි මෙයා කියන්නේ කියලා අනිත් එක්කෙනා දන්නවා. If they had to communicate in meters, no one would understand, right? ඒගොල්ලන්ට මීටර වලින් කතා කරන්න උනා නම් ඕක කාටවත් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. කවුරුත් කියන කිසිම දෙයක් කාටවත් තේරෙන්නේ නැති වෙනවා නේද? ඕක මීටර වලින් කියන්න උනා නම්. So due to that reason, specific industries, they must use their units. ඒගොල්ලන්ට මේ SI පාවිච්චි කරන්න බෑ. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ units පාවිච්චි කරනවා. Okay, so nothing would replace light years. ආලෝක වර්ෂ ඕවා කවුරුත් replace කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔය වගේ තව units තියෙනවා. ඕගොල්ලන්ට සැරින් සැරේට හම්බ වෙයි. Okay, so just because we learn light SI units, අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තේ SI ඒකක ක්‍රමය වුණා කියලා අපි SI එක විතරක් නෙමෙයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. Okay, we will learn a lot more units. තව ඒකක ගොඩාක් ඉගෙන ගනි මේ lesson එක පුරාවට. පැහැදිලිද? Clear everyone? හැමෝටම පැහැදිලිද? පැහැදිලිද? හරි. Again, back to SI system. Now we learned about basic units. අපි මූලික ඒකක ගැන ඉගෙන ගත්තා. Clear? Now we have to scale them up and down. ඒගොල්ලන්ව උඩට යටට scale කරන්න ඕනේ. ඇයි ඒ? Why do we need to scale them up and down? I mean, if the only unit we have is meters, I mean, discussing about the length of insects, rooming ගේ දිගවල කතා කරන්න ගියා meter වලින්, it's not, I mean, convenient, right? කරදර වැඩන්නේ නේ. අයි meter දශම ගණන් ගැනනේ කියන්න වෙන්නේ. So And if we talk about nanotechnology, in nanotechnology, what is the usual length that we are working on? Nanometers. So if the only unit we had was meters, it's difficult to communicate, right? So for the to make it easy to communicate, මේවා එකිනෙකා අතර දත්ත හුවමාරු කරගන්න ලේසි කරන්න අපිට ඕනේ මේවා scale up and down කරන්න. For that we use multiplies and submultiplies. මොනවාද? ගුණාකාර සහ උපගුණාකාර පාවිච්චි වෙනවා. මේගොල්ලන්ව උඩට යටට යවන්න. Clear? Ah. So what are these submultiplies? You can read them, okay? Centimeters. Centimeters means 10 to the power minus 2. 10 to the power minus 2 centimeters. Clear? Milli. Symbol is C. 10 to the power minus 3 milli. That means symbol M. That means simple M. Then again 10 to the power minus, let's take 6 micro. Micro. So these are submultiplies. Upagunakara. Just read the note. You have nano, pico, femto, atto. Okay. So what means 1 micrometer? What is the meaning of 1 micrometer? That means 10 to the power minus 6 meters. Clear? 10 to the power minus 6 meters. 1 micrometer means 10 to the power minus 6 meters. Okay. Made Gunakara submultiplies. Then let's go to multiplies. Gunakara, monada, multiples. Kilo. What is kilo? 10 to the power 3. Mega, giga. You have heard these things in internet, right? Like internet usage basically. What is 10 to the power 6? Mega. What is 10 to the power 9? Giga. So it continues, right? It continues. You have kilo, mega, giga, tera, peta, and extra. Clear? These are all multiples. Find this thing, make a hand 15 kilograms per millimeter per nanosecond. Convert this into gram per meter per second. Make it harder. Kilogram per millimeter per nanosecond. Kilogram millimeter nanosecond වලට convert it into gram per meter per second. Maybe difficult, okay? And if someone get the answer, try other note. අර අනිත් note එක try කරන්න කවුරු හරි answer එක ගත්තා නම්. Okay. So how to get this? කොහොමද මේව ගන්නෙ? Gram per meter per second. So 15 kilogram per millimeter means millimeter is here, right? Clear? Per nanosecond means nanosecond is here, right? Clear? First step. Then what? 15 convert kilo into gram. How? Kilo means 10 to the power 3 gram. Clear? Then millimeter. What is millimeter? Milli means 10 to the power minus 3. It's 10 to the power minus 3 meters. What is nano? 10 to the power minus 9 seconds. Clear? Now what? දැන් මොකක්ද දෙන්න ඕන? 15 into 10 to the power 3 මෙයාවත් උඩට ගත්තම into 10 to the power minus 3 මෙතනට ආවම 3 into 10 to the power minus 9 when you take it here 10 to the power 9, right? You have gram, meter, seconds. Clear? පැහැදිලිද? Now what? Like these things soon, these are not the things that you will write like this and do, right? You should just, when you see one unit and when you see another unit system, you will be able to get the answer directly. Okay, you must have that capacity. Okay, when we are doing more and more questions, you will get that ability. Okay, okay. So this is gram per meter per second, right? That means 15 into 10 to the power 50 per meter per second, right? Gram per meter per second. Now, what if I need to convert this into milligram per gigameter per gigameter per microsecond? What if I need to convert this into this unit system? I have this in gram per meter per second. I need to convert it into milligram per gigameter per microsecond. Convert. Make convert කරන්න බල. Do we have the answer? ගත්තද? කොහොමද ඒක ගන්නයි? See. Now I have 15 into මම මෙතනින් දැම්ම යන්නම්. 15 into 10 to the power 15. Gram meter second. I think today, like new president was elected in US, right? Trump, we'll see. Fifteen into 10 to the power 15. First step, convert. Fine. 15 into 10 to the power 15. Gram. First, we have to convert it into milligrams. How can you convert this into milligrams? I know you know the answer, but if we do it the correct way with fundamentals, you need to write milli here. What is milligram? That means 10 to the power minus 3 grams, right? So what I'm going to do is, I can't change the value, right? I can't change the value and bring values in all of a sudden, okay? If I bring milli here, that means I bring 10 to the power minus 3 here. මම මිලි ගේනවා කියන්නේ 10 රින් 3ක් ගේනවා කියන එකනේ. So what I'm doing is I write 10 to the power 3 to cancel out with milli. Clear? That's what I'm doing. Why? What is milli? Milli is 10 to the power minus 3. Milli means milli කියන්නේ 10 රින් 3. Milli means 10 to the power minus 3. So what I'm doing is I convert gram into milligram. That means I bring 10 to the power minus 3. To cancel with that, I bring 10 to the power 3. Why? I can't change value, right? Okay. So if I'm going to bring milli in, I have to bring something to remove that. Clear? So when I'm bringing milli here, I bring 10 to the power 3 here. Clear? So same thing happens here. What? Instead of meters, I bring gigameters. Giga means 10 to the power 9. So to cancel with that, I bring 10 to the power minus 9. Man 10 රින 9 ගේනවා giga එක cancel out වෙන්න. Clear? To cancel out with giga, I bring 10 to the power minus 9. Gigameter. And then we have microseconds. So I bring 10 to the power 6 to cancel out with micro. Why? Micro means 10 to the power minus 6. Micro කියන්නේ 10 රින 6 නේ. Micro කියන්නේ 10 රින 6 නේ. To cancel with that, I bring 10 to the power 6. See the unit conversion. Okay. Clear everyone? මේක convert කරපු හැටි පැහැදිලිද? I bring a sub multiply or multiply in, and I bring something to remove that. Now I have 15 into 10 to the power 15 into 10 to the power 3. I bring 10 to the power 9 here, minus 9 here. And I bring this here. This here. It turns into milligram per gigameter per microsecond. Clear everyone? Everyone clear? Now we are comfortable with this milli, giga, micro. I will give more questions. Okay, definitely. Usually within 2-3 weeks we'll be starting the revision sessions. So in revision sessions, it will be a 1 hour session every week, online session. Okay. In those revision sessions, what we do is we take a lot of questions like this, very small questions, then we revise them. Okay. Revision sessions වල වෙන්නේ අපි හැම සතියෙම පොඩි online session එකක් දාලා මේවෙන් ගණන් පොඩි ගණන් ගොඩාක් හදලා ඒ ටික revise කරනවා. The target of a revision session is to, there are people in different levels at the moment. Okay, some people understand them very quickly, some takes time. Especially for the people who takes time, you can join the revision session and you can do a lot of small questions like this, hundreds of small questions like this until you understand it. Okay, that is the idea of revision session. Okay, you can do a lot of very small questions, hundreds of small questions like this until you understand. So you have first read yourself. Okay, ඔයාට මේ කියන ඔක්කොම තේරෙනවා නම්, okay, if you can understand very well, if you can do a hard question, just don't go into revision session. Okay, it's a waste of time. Okay, It depends completely on you. Okay. තමන් කවුද කියන එක මත ඒක depend වෙනවා. And you may understand something very well. Next week, you may not understand. That week, you go to the revision session. And in the paper discussions, it's really hard questions. Paper discussions, they are really hard questions. Okay. So the idea of in the paper discussion, why do we discuss really hard questions? There are exceptional students. So exceptional students, they can join the paper discussions and face very difficult questions and understand them. Okay, that is the, and here in the class, I usually do very hard questions and mid-level questions. Okay, very easy questions. It usually happens in the revision session. සෑහෙන ලේසි ගණන් ටික කරගෙන කරගෙන යන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය revision session එකේ. පැහැදිලිද? That is how my class happens. My basic objective is to cater students in every level. Okay, that is the main idea. හැම level එකේම ළමයින්ට cater කරන එක තමයි පුළුවන් විදිහට. Okay. So I'll provide you a Google form and everything to give feedback, and we have to, like, if possible, we have to take three, four extra classes so that I can quickly catch up with my existing class. Okay, I can quickly catch up with my existing class so that you won't miss anything at the term test. Okay, so we'll see. You must get holidays until 25, right? 25 වෙනකන් නිවාඩු තියෙන්න ඕනේ නේ. You must get holidays till 25. So before 25, like between December 1st and 25, I may have 3-4 sessions, extra sessions to cover things. Okay, yeah, class is not over. Now, we have like 10 more minutes, not 10. I usually finish at 15. We'll see. Anyone have classes after this? Anyone? And please, if you don't have classes, like, don't start anything new after this class, because whenever I'm doing additional session, whenever we need to finish something quickly, I usually have a class after this for 25 batch, but it will be soon over because I'll be finishing syllabus 25 batch within like 4-5 months. Okay, I'll be done with the syllabus. I usually finish syllabus before 6 months. Okay, for you also, I'm trying to do that. So I'll be done with the 25 batch theory class within like 4-5 months. So then we can speed up things if required, or we can have a paper discussion or revision sessions or difficult question discussion sessions, or you can write the paper. These kind of things you can do after this class if possible. Okay, so on start new classes after this time. Okay, if possible, please keep that time slot free. Something you can easily do is, for now, you can, I will be starting your papers within 3 weeks or 1 month. You can, it's 2-hour paper. So if possible, after the class, write the 2-hour paper and go. Okay, so you don't have to come 2 days. Okay, it's a possibility. Okay, until I start something. Okay, so just keep that time slot free if possible, so that I can use that time slot to speed up things, clarify issues, do some paper discussions, do some past paper discussions. Okay, do some term test paper discussions. Okay, so please keep that time slot free. Now, something like this, 80 kilometers per hour, convert into meters per second, convert into meters per second. And meanwhile, try that small question tute. Okay, the difficult question tute, try it at home. At least try to go through one question. Okay, each week try one question in the difficult question tute. Okay, for now, that are the difficult questions that I can give, because we don't have mechanics. යාන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාව කරාට පස්සේ ඕන තරම් අමාරු ගණන් තියෙනවා. We have answer for the first question. We have answer for the first question in the difficult question tute. I think, yeah, I think it's correct. I think the answer you have given is correct. And please do comment on the mode of teaching. උගන්වන විදිහ ගැන, language එක ගැන. Okay, about the language, the speed I'm teaching, what are the good things, what are the bad things. Please mention everything in the suggestion form. Suggestion form will be available in the group and it's an anonymous form. I usually put these suggestion forms every week. හැම සතියකම මම suggestion forms දානවා. Just like then I can get a good feedback. මූණට කියන්නේ නැහැ ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් දේවල්. So it's better to have the suggestion form. It's an anonymous form. You can convey any message about my teaching through that, okay? And mention things possible, okay? Don't mention things like get a bit taller or something like that, okay? Mention anything possible, mention them in the suggestion form so that like I'm an engineer, not a typical teacher, so I like to improve every week, every day. I like to improve, so I need your suggestions to improve. So since it is an anonymous form, I don't know who's mentioning that, but please mention every day, every week, what should be improved. And I really like if you can tell them like directly to me, but it never happens usually, right, in a class. So mention anything that should change. When I send on ඕනම දෙයක් suggestion form එකේ දාන්න, okay? It will be available in the group. So 80 kilometers per hour. How to convert this? 80 kilometers most probably will be moving into mechanics in 2-3 weeks, okay? යාන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාවට යයි සති දෙක තුනක් ඇතුළත අපි. And when we go into mechanics, the class would be at around 6:30, something like that, 6:30, 6:45 at least. Okay. So just don't start new classes after this time slot. So within 3-4 weeks, we'll be extending the time a little bit to 6:30. I'll be giving a little bit lengthy interval, but class again 6:30, 40 වගේ වෙනකම්. So here 80 kilometers per hour. What can I do is this is kilometer here. Per hour means here, right? Per hour means here. Kilometer කොහොමද හරවන්නේ meters වලට? 10 to the power 3 meters. 10 3. hour පැය කොහොමද හරවන්නේ? Convert hours into seconds. 3,600 seconds, right? 1 hour equals 3,600 seconds. So these kind of things better to remember. How? You have 8 here. This is 1,000. This is 3,600. So it's 80 into 5/18 meters per second. So these things, good thing to remember. මේක මතක තියාගන්න හොඳ දෙයක්. Why? This is a good thing to remember. Why? You always have to convert kilometers per hour into meters per second. Why? In any mechanics question, if it involves vehicles, they usually give data in kilometers per hour, right? ඕනම යාන්ත්‍ර විද්‍යාව ගානක වාහන තියෙනවා නම් පැයට කිලෝමීටර් වලින් දත දෙන්නේ නේ. හැබැයි අපි වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ we have to work with meters per second, right? So it's better to remember these kind of things, okay? Whenever you need to convert something from kilometers per hour to meters per second, okay? 5/18. And studying doesn't mean you go home and study these things, okay? Never. I had many creative ways to remember things. You like something is if I have to remember 5-6 things like this, I never study it. I had like whiteboards. You can use a whiteboard or a bristle board. I just wrote it in the whiteboard, okay? And whenever I'm passing there, I just go read them, and whenever I'm passing that place, මම ඒක දිහා බලනවා. I just look into that. Okay, when I need to convert something from meters per second to kilometers, multiply by 5/18. Just pass when I'm passing that point, okay? Very small thing, but it takes only few days to remember that thing, okay? Why? That's how your brain works, okay? When you repetitively feed something to it, it knows that it's important, okay? When you study it one time, okay, when you try to study it, your brain doesn't know that is important. මොලේ දන්නේ නැහැ මේක වැදගත් කියලා. It just at that point it remembers, then forgets. But you can remember your phone number. A small kid can remember their name. Even a dog can understand their name. Why? It's repetitive, okay? So whenever use repetitive study methods, okay? always use repetitive study method. That will be really useful in chemistry. Okay, I never studied chemistry. Okay, but I had chemistry prize in at my school and the college. I had like four terms or something like that. It's not easy to get the chemistry prize, and I was the section first for like 3 4 and like I was the section first for like 3 or 4 terms, but at the end of the day, our class second was the island first. Okay, Tarusha Fonseca, island first in our batch. There's a really that's a really important message there. I mean, I can remember in the first term I got 9 or something like that for maths. Okay, I got 89 or something like for that for maths, and for maths at Ananda College paper 89 is a huge mark. Okay, and Tarusha got 30s or 40s or something like that. I can't remember the value. He got 30s or 40s or something like that. Okay, so see the difference. Okay, I was the section first. Anyway, like huge difference. We are here, we are seeing the island first. Okay, second term same, a small improvement. Third term same, a small improvement. Okay, but what I saw about Tarusha is like whatever happens, he keep trying. Okay, whatever happens, he keep trying. He do it again and again and again every day. Okay, that's his behavior. Okay, he just keep learning. He asks from me, he asks from class teachers, really eager to learn. Okay, not that nerdy person. Okay, it's not a nerdy guy. He just like to learn. Okay, he just like to keep improving. So he just kept improving. I was like this, okay, and he was like this. In the last terms, okay, in the last terms, his marks were exponential. I mean, it's exponential means it's crazy exponential. I got in the second term, I got 99 marks for physics, Ananda College. Getting 99 marks for in Ananda College is huge. I never thought that anyone can beat that kind of a thing, okay? Tarusha 100, okay? Tarusha 100, okay? That's the dedication that guy had. Okay. I'm not asking anyone in my classes to follow me, follow him. Okay. I was here and I was there forever. Okay. No improvements. So this was enough for me. Okay. This was enough for me. But for him, it was not enough. For him, it was never enough. Okay. He keep improving. Okay, we never think that someone can when some one guy get 99 for the exam paper, we never think that anyone can pass that, right? Tarusha, no, 100. Okay, it's 100. Okay, I can remember in last term tests he had like every subject he had about 95 or something like that. It's an exponential growth. Okay, he went to, you can see Tarusha's results is there in like 10 different teachers around Colombo. In 10 different teachers' mark sheets, you can see Tarusha's mark name. Why? In the last days, he was searching for a place that he can be second. In the last few months, he was desperately searching for a difficult paper in each paper class, everywhere in Colombo. So he went to every paper class. Wherever he goes, he become first with more than 95 marks. So he was really upset due to the fact that there are no papers that he can write. Starting from this point, okay? That's why we always mention that dedication matters. Okay, it's nothing about the brain capacity, intelligence. No, nothing about that. It's the dedication. Okay, at the end of the day, when I heard that Tarusha was island first, it's not. I wasn't surprised. Okay, there was no one in Sri Lanka who can beat him. Okay, I wasn't. I mean, a friend called me and told that Tarusha is island first. I mean, I knew that. I had I still have that screenshot. I saved Tarusha as Tarusha Island first uh, around 6 months before A-level results, because it was that obvious for me. Okay, no one can beat the guy. Okay, no one can, never. Okay, starting from this point. Okay, even for physics, same marks like this. Chemistry, same marks like this. Little bit higher or lower. Okay, but that's the value of dedication. Okay, ඒකයි වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ කියන්නේ මහන්සි වෙලා නැතුව ඔයාට අද කොච්චර පුළුවන්ද කියන එක එච්චර වැදගත් නෑ levels වලට. Okay, so uh, there are a few questions in the exercise 1. Try exercise 1 in the main tute. Okay, try exercise 1 in the main tute. Then try the difficult question tute. try the difficult question dudes. That's all for this week. Next week, let's meet at the same time. Try to be here exactly by 3 p.m. I just delayed starting the class today because there are new students. Alut kattiya bohindai patan ganna paraku kare. And please do mention things in suggestion form, okay? Thank you.